Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Blame yourselves for this fucking word salad that I just spit all over the goddamn plate. This is all your fault. You and I like to. That's it. I work under the cover of darkness because I don't need the rest of society to look in my eyes and know that is a bad person. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt's 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Folks, I am in my head, crazy in my head. Like Lily cranked up the volume. She pumped up the volume. She pumped up the volume. She pumped up the volume. Dance, dance. Mars needs women. It's in my fucking head. That's from the song. But it's and you know what's even better? Because she's cranked up. She plugged me back into some new board. I was in an old board. I don't know what the fuck, but now I've moved on to a new board, folks. And she said, "Oh, you've been complaining about your sound." I don't think I've been complaining ever. Have you guys heard me complain? No, not about sound. Certainly, I've complained about other things.
You were like, I like it really loud.
Well, I usually do, but that was a long time ago. I said that because I basically adjusted myself to do what you were going to do because you're the producer. I couldn't make any requests because you would just give me a withering glance, and then that was it.
True. I always took what you had to say to heart.
Yeah, and then you did nothing about it. But that's fine. But now you have. You've stepped up. You've stepped to the forefront. This is weird, by the way. Lily she's fixed her kitchen. She's fixed her stripper kitchen, and now there's a pole. Good. It's about time. That's what we've all been waiting for. We've been waiting for that to be in here. And now she's actually hanging upside down while we're talking. We're producing the show upside down in fishnets. No, she like put a table in and like built a Costco bookcase and like all this shit is stacked up now. And now, what it's led to, which is good. I mean, her kitchen looks great and it's exciting for her. And I'm glad that she's able to finally grab a semblance of order to her life, to her kitchen. But the weird thing is now she and I are directly face to face. Like before, she was kind of like tucked into a cubby hole, and she was there looking at the computer, and I sort of saw her. But now we are literally in a showdown. Like we are looking at one another, staring at one another. And if we turned the lights off right now, we could do the Electric Company. Doom, 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 doom. Fire, da-da-da-da. And not the new Electric Company. Fuck you for making a new Electric Company. Why not just show the old one? Those were fine. You have them. They're on tape. Bring them up. You don't need to hire a new bunch of kids to do the Electric Company. The old Electric Company was fine. Spider-Man fighting against, Gerons. What was he fighting against? I don't know. Spider-Man, a huge fan. But I mean, that's how crazy it was. It's like Spider-Man was fighting nobody, and I still watch it because I was so excited to see Spider-Man alive and moving. And then the Spider-Man movie came out, and I was like, well, this is actually much better than the Electric Company Spider-Man. Hard to believe. I didn't think they could top it, of him going whoosh, whoosh, and shooting like a graphic web on somebody. And by the way, that's all over the internet, shooting a graphic web on somebody.com. So now Lily and I, we're actually staring at one another face to face, and she's, And now, all right, I'll say this. A few weeks ago, I talked about Lily and the things that she did while I was on the air and the way that she was dressed, and apparently it's caused quite a stir. So someone wrote me and they're like, dude, I sent you a package. I think it was KC who sent it. And he's like, dude, I sent you a package. I'm like, oh, awesome. Because I always enjoy getting mail at the P.O. Box. By the way, if you'd like to send me something to the P.O. Box, write me at my email and then I'll give you the P.O. Box address. That seems like it's one step too many, right? Shouldn't I just tell them that? But no, I don't, because inevitably there'll be somebody trolling around, listening to podcasts, sending bombs. I don't want that. I can't be a victim of the random podcast bomber. You know what? He'll be called the I Bomber. Instead of the Unabomber, he's the I Bomber. Lowercase I, big B. But I can't have that. Some guy in a hoodie and sunglasses listening to my show and sending me a bomb. Fuck all that. So if you want the email address, write me. Although, let's be honest, what prevents the I Bomber from sending me an email? It's not exactly like I have a big screening system in place. If you write and ask for it, I send you the P.O. Box. Oh, I'm giving the I Bomber too many ideas. God damn it. I've actually given somebody the idea to become the I-Bomber. I'm not even giving the I-Bomber ideas. I put out the idea of the I-Bomber. I've created that. Oh, all podcasters, beware. All of you, make sure you double check your mail. It's not ticking. But now I have a P.O. Box in case he's like, dude, I sent you a package. And so I was like all excited, and I went and get the package, and I pull it out, and it just says Lily. Care of Throat Punch Media. Which I actually like the care of, because when you send me something, it has to be Mike Schmidt, care of Throat Punch Media, or else the post office doesn't deliver it. I found out early. If I just tell them Mike Schmidt, they're like, that's not Mike Schmidt's P.O. Box. It's Throat Punch Media's P.O. Box. Yeah. So, but I like Lily care of, because Mike Schmidt care of Throat Punch Media, whatever the fuck. But Lily care of throw punch meanie, it sounds like I have you cradled in my arms. It's just like, oh, putting you to sleep. Oh, she's sleeping right now. Oh, you're sending mail? Care of. Like you're in bed and I'm giving you soup. I'm mailing you soup. That's what I'm doing. You went to sleep. You're so sick, and I mailed you soup to my own P.O. box. First I wrote myself an email. There's no doubt about that. I wrote myself an email to get the address, and then I went ahead and said, hey, why don't I go ahead and send her something because she's care of me, and then I sent it. So Casey sends this package for Lily. I'm like, come on, really, dude? I was so disappointed. And then, so I've saved it for days, and then I finally brought it here to Lily, and I didn't tell her, and I handed it to her. I'm like, here you go. She goes, oh, what's this? And then it took her 14 minutes to open the box because she does not know anything about cardboard or boxes. Why are you holding it up? I know what it is. You don't have to hold it up for me.
Because I was very excited about this.
Okay. So then Lily opens up this box, and first of all, no note.
Yeah, thanks.
No hello, no Lily, hi, how are you? No, not even a salutation, a greeting, a how are you? Nothing. No inquiry as to the state of Lily or her well-being. And as I don't know if you've heard, she's ill. I had to take care of her. So, I mean, that's out there now. If you send a note, you don't even ask you don't even ask after Lily. You just send her a box of rubella, you fuck. Not knowing that I have to care for her. You know that. You actually wrote it on the box. You know that she's being cared for by me. So you knew that she was wiped out, and I had to, gently rock her cradle and put her to sleep, which is a euphemism for 9 different things. That's right. Usually before the show, I'll come over here, and I will gently rock Lily's cradle, and then we get underway. That's why I show up for a 4 o'clock record, and we're recording now at fucking 6 o'clock. Because I have to get here early, and I gently rock Lily's cradle, and then boom, sleepy time. Not for her, for me. All right, so because I got a 9 knot off, folks, I'm old. So sure enough, he writes on there Lily care of, and then she opens up no note. All right, which seems rude, especially if you're going to go to the trouble to mail a box from wherever the fuck you mailed it. You got to pay for all this postage, and then you seal the box in a way that she can't open the box for 14 minutes. I don't know why nobody's going to steal your non-existent letter that was in there. But then when she can't open it, she's like, I wonder what's in here. Oh, my God, it could be diamonds. It could be rubies. It could be emeralds. And then when she opens it up, close. It is green, it is red, and it is blue. KC sent along a bag of ring pops, folks. Yay. With no letter, no nothing, no explanation. Even though I guess there really doesn't need to be an explanation because we all know what Lily does with ring pops, right? We're all aware of that. And Casey, I got to thank you. Apparently he was thinking of me because he doesn't even get to see it.
It was a gift for you.
True, because he doesn't get to see Lily with the ring pops, which, by the way, is my favorite Encyclopedia Brown mystery of all time. Encyclopedia Brown investigates Lily and the ring pops. The Hardy Boys and the mystery of Lily and the ring pops. That's who it was. Bugs Meany came over. It was horrible. All right, so I'm blending books. I know I'm blending books there, folks. So Lily opens it up. It's a bag of ring pops, and not just a bag of ring pops, ladies and gentlemen. It is a bonus bag of ring pops. There is 3 plus 1. 3 plus 1 plus 1. Was that on Mr. Show? I think it was. Bonus bag. So so now Lily can she'll have ring pops for at least 4 more shows. Because wait, you did 2 in one show, right? Only one? All right, so we got one. There's a bag of 4, so that's going to get us through to episode 35. We need something to get through year 4, folks, because fumes was the only word I could think of. I've talked about a box of ring pops for 9 minutes. What the fuck? Yeah, close, really? All right, I don't know. I'm just off the top of my head. I'm just guessing. I can't even hear you because, again, I'm so cranked up in my head, folks. Oh, it's amazing. I get to, because I love me and I love my voice. You all know that, right? So now it's all cranked up inside my head, so I get to hear myself be loud, loud, loud. That's the song. So hi. How are you? I'm good. It's exciting. It's a Wednesday record. Last week was Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. By the way, just to tell, I'll sort this out with you on the air. In 2 weeks, Thanksgiving week, I have to do a Tuesday show, just so you know, because I fly out on Wednesday. It's the 22nd. I think. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Folks, we're making plans for Nigel right in front of you. You're here. That's behind the scenes stuff, folks. That's backdoor. I should have done that when I was gently rocking her cradle, but no, now instead I bring it to you on the air. You get to hear me making plans for the future. What?
All right.
You're good? You're making a note of that? Write it down on the pad. So, hey, folks, here's something I'll bring to you right now. With Thanksgiving's coming up, and you guys send me packages, and everybody's nice, and I'll be in Milwaukee Thanksgiving week, as I've mentioned. Let me drop this on you, folks. If you want to meet me and you want to see me, you have to make it easy for me to do that. Okay? Because I'm always, interested in meeting people and seeing people and saying hello. And sometimes when they come, people claim me for when I do my live shows. People will claim me. They're like, dude, after the show, I'm hanging out with you. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. Whoever gets in first and jumps in, that's fine. But if you come to Los Angeles and you want to meet me like our friend Sabrina did, and you're going to be here, that's fine. Again, I'm up for it. I will do whatever I can to try to accommodate and do what I can to get there and meet you or see you or whatever you need to do. But then when that's going to happen, you have to work with me a little bit, just a little bit. Okay? Because I actually used this phrase this week. I actually was like, it does not pay to be nice. It does not pay. Because I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm never meeting anybody anymore. That's it. I'm done meeting people. No, it's not bad. It's not. Let me preface that right now because I know the person is going to hear this and they're going to be like, what? But it's not that bad. But it's still, it was bad for a little bit. Okay, whatever the fuck. No one cares. But I'm going to tell you this. Someone, I don't want to say this person's name, but she wrote me like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, or 3 weeks ago. And her note was, she's going to be in Milwaukee. And she's like, she already claimed me from Milwaukee. She's like, we're hanging out in Milwaukee. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. But then she wrote me, she's like, unbelievable. Then she wrote me, she's like, I'm going to be at your show in Chicago. And I said, that's great. That's fine. I'll be there. I don't know if hanging out is going to work because there's, literally a million people that I know are going to be there. But then I didn't hear from her. And then she wrote me and she's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Yeah, I'm going to be in Los Angeles the week you're in Chicago. So I'm going to miss your Chicago show, but I'm going to be running around. Do you want to get together when I'm there? And her name's Jill. I'm just going to say her fucking name. I mean, there's no point. Because again, I'm going to be talking. I'm going to keep alluding to this woman. We're not in a courtroom yet. So her name's Jill, and she was like, apparently she was coming to town with her husband to go to the Packer game on Sunday in San Diego, and she said, so she was like, do you want to get together? I don't know what my plans are, because at the time she didn't have a flight yet. She didn't know anything. So she wrote me this note. So I, again, you guys know me. I'm industrious. So I went to her Facebook page and I found her phone number because it's on there. So I called her. And I just left a message because she didn't pick up. I left a voicemail. And then I texted her when I just sent a text, and she's like, "Oh my God, what? Really? And I'm like, yeah, I called and left a message, blah, blah, blah. And here's my favorite thing that she wrote when I texted her. She goes, oh my God. She goes, when I go, it's Mike Schmidt, by the way, because I sent the text, and I go, I have no idea if my name ever comes through. She goes, no, it's just a number. And then I went and I Googled the area code to find out what it was from, and my heart sunk. Aww. And I went, your heart sunk? Are you expecting somebody else to be texting you in the middle of the night? And she's like, yeah, I wonder why it did that. I'm like, I don't know. What the fuck? So immediately I want to stop talking then. At that point, literally, like, I thought she was excited to hear from me. She was saying, let's get together, and she's coming out with her husband. But her heart sunk. So I'm like, well, I'm done. Your heart sunk. We're finished. I mean, because again, I'm stupid, folks. That's who I am. If you tell me you want to see me, and then I contact you, and you're like, oh, him? I mean, dude, I don't want to fucking bother you. You were the one who told me. So she was very nice, and we texted back and forth, and that night, and I said, well, that's cool if you want to get together. I'll be back Sunday. I mean, I said, I'll be back Saturday night from, Chicago. I said, and you're going to San Diego on Sunday. I don't know where you're staying or what works best for you. And at the time, she still didn't know. So I said, well, yeah, I'm in. Just let me know what the information is like. So then she found out she was coming to town, and she was going to be staying in Marina Del Rey. She was going to be in San Diego all day Sunday for the game. And then she was going to be in Los Angeles all day Monday. And she's like, so tell me anytime, whatever you want to do, let's get together. That'll be fun. So I said, all right. I said, I'd prefer Sunday night rather than Monday because, my schedule's all fucked up. You guys know that. I'm up all night. So then Monday I would have to get up. And also I liked Sunday because I could go to where she was. I can control that. Because if I show up and, it's fucking terrible, I can leave. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to lie to you. So because on Monday I would have to tell her where to go, and she's not from here. And then I would have to tell her and her husband where to meet me. And then I've got to show up. And it just seems like a lot of work at that point. If I can just get in the car and go somewhere, much easier for me. So I said, all right, well, I'd prefer Sunday because she said she's going to be in Marina Del Rey and she said she'd be back from the game, that night. And I said, what hotel are you in? She told me. I said, let's call it 9 o'clock at your hotel. I'll pick you up. And she said, great. So time goes through, whatever the fuck. She's on Facebook. I see she's in San Diego. She writes me. I'm all excited. And then Sunday comes along and I know she's in San Diego. So I was in Chicago Saturday, flew in, blah, blah, blah. And then Sunday I'm waiting to get together. So I just assumed we're going. I mean, I hadn't heard anything different. So I get up and hang out. I watch football. I take a shower. And I'm picking her up at 9 o'clock in Marina Del Rey. So at 7 o'clock, I send her an email because the game ends at like 4:30 in San Diego. And she also said, I don't know what it's going to be like getting out of San Diego. I said, you should be back by 9. I figured, 5 hours, that gives you a lot of time. So I texted her and I just said, hey, I need a timeline on an ETA for you. Are we still on tonight? And I don't hear from her. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. But take a shower, throw some hair gel in because I got to look presentable for fucking people who don't know who the fuck I am. And then I'm waiting at the house. And then I get a text from her about 7:50, 10 to 8. And she says, oh my gosh, we're still in traffic. I don't know what it looks like now. Frowny face. So I wrote her back and I said, that's fine. I said, let me know, give me an update on what's happening. I understand you guys have been gone all day. I said, I don't know if the game and the drive took a lot out of you. Just let me know what's up. So 20 minutes goes by and then she texts me, took a lot out of me. What? That's all it said. So I'm like, okay. Maybe you should give me an update on where you are and what's happening rather than showing outrage at the fact that I showed concern for you. And it wasn't even tickle out of me. It was out of me. What? Literally, it was 4 words. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, all right. And that's at 10 after 8, I think. So I'm waiting. And I wait till about 8:20. And then... I'm sorry. I apologize. I saw out of me what, and I called her immediately. I went outside. I grabbed my phone and I called her, and got her voicemail. She's in the car. She just texted me. I called and I got her voicemail. That's fine. So I leave a voicemail, and I again, we all know texting blows. I mean, because I look angry every time I text, because my thumbs are so angry. Like I don't even anticipate the fact that my thumbs are going to be so mean to everybody, but they're not trying to be mean. They're just they're just talking. That's what my thumbs talk like. My thumbs are very severe. My thumbs are Jack Webb. So my thumbs are very Jack Webb and Dragnet. They're just the facts. They try to add a little color. They try to be a little funny, and inevitably people hate me because there's no inflection, whatever the fuck. Texting is awful. We know this. It just blows. So I figured I'll call her because you know what? All I do is talk, folks. As you know, because listen to me now. Right now, if I was texting this show to you, you'd hate me. Oh my God, would you hate me? But now you hear it, you're like, God, he's kind of funny. He's got inflection. He knows how to talk and represent himself as a person. But my thumbs don't. My thumbs only know because they're just fucking. Again, they're still making fun of dogs because dogs don't have them. That's what they do. My thumbs. They're like, haha, dogs jealous, and then they go out and they fake hitchhike and then they laugh at a guy when he stops. So. But when I talk, you hear me and I sound great. So I go, you know what? I will call her. That's fine. So I call her. As she doesn't pick up, fine. And then I leave a charming voicemail because that's what I do, folks. I'm a charming guy. And I go, yeah, out of you, because I don't know if you're taking the ride. I don't know if you guys are in the car. I mean, it's just, you're drinking all day, watching a football game, because it was a crazy game, too. It was like a shootout, a ton of points. The Packers won, so she's happy about that. That's fine. So I said, you know what? Let me know what's happening. I'm here. Time ticks away. That was at like 5 after 8. So then, at like 20 after 8, I send a text and I go, hey, just, trying to get an update. Let me know what's up. Because I'm supposed to be there at 9 in Marina Del Rey. Now, Marina Del Rey is about 30 miles from my place, but in LA, that could take fucking an hour and a half. I mean, it depends on the traffic. I could breeze there and be there in 35 minutes, or I could be there in fucking 2 hours. I don't know, but it would be better if I knew what I was doing rather than getting a text that just said, out of me, what? That gives me no heads up. It doesn't tell me to leave my house. It doesn't let me know if we're still on or we're not on or if she's tired. I don't fucking know. So I like I said, I called and then I sent a text. Then about, I think it was 8:40, I call again. And I leave a voicemail. Another one. Nice, charming. I'm a nice guy. And then I don't hear anything. And then I send another text. I really need to know what's happening here. So that's 2 calls and 2 texts. Now look, folks. That's, you know what that is, quite frankly? That's 2 calls and 1 text too many. Because I like you guys and you're all nice and I don't mind meeting you and being friends, but I'm not chasing you motherfuckers down. You get that, right? You want to see me, you need to make it. And look, I'm nobody, all right? I fucking get that. I don't know who the fuck I am to be making ultimatums and telling me if you want to meet me, you got to be in a certain place, whatever the fuck. I'm no one. I totally get that, all right? But even if you weren't like listener, podcaster, if you were my friend and I called you twice and texted you twice and I was supposed to meet you and you never told me where and you only sent me like 5 words, I'd be fucking pissed. Okay? But now 2 calls and 2 texts, that's it. I'm done. Because if I have to send another one or now I'm chasing you. I'm not the chaser, folks. I'm the chasee. You got to make this easy for me, all right? Because you are coming. Look, I understand you flew from fucking Milwaukee and you're here and you're the one on vacation and you've got a bunch of shit scheduled. That's fine. I realize all I am is mouthy Disneyland on your fucking trip. That's right. Okay? I get it. You've got other things to do and other tourist stops to make, and I'm just another one of those goddamn tourist stops on your long, rolled out scroll of a schedule in the 4 days you're in fucking Los Angeles. But mouthy Disneyland has other things to do. No offense, but I'm all excited to see you. I don't mind hooking up and getting together. That's fine. But I'm not going to fucking sit there and piss away my night waiting to hear from you. So time goes by, and finally it's like, I think it was like 5 after 9, and I get a text, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? We're actually here now. It's fine. We're in Marina Del Rey. You can come down and meet us, but there's a pub. We already ate dinner because I should tell you this, because I said to her, I go, look, she's like, what are we gonna do in Marina Del Rey? I go, I don't know. It's not my town. I go, but I know one great restaurant there that I'd like to go to if you want to have dinner." Because there's a restaurant called Killer Shrimp that used to be open. There was like 3 locations that were open, but they're not. It's been closed for like 3 years, but now they've reopened in Marina Del Rey. So I was all excited about that. And honestly, look, I like Jill. She's a nice person. She's a fan. I couldn't wait to fucking go to Killer Shrimp. All right, that was the whole. I'm excited to meet her. I'm excited to see her. I'm excited to talk to her. She seems very nice. But I'll be truly honest with you. It was about 60-40 Killer fucking Shrimp. Because I could not wait to go to this fucking restaurant. So I actually told her when she's like, what are we going to do? I said, you know what? Because she was she told me the hotel she was at. And I looked and I go, there's this restaurant. And she's like, okay. So then she writes me at 5. That was over days I had told her. And I was excited because I couldn't wait to go to Killer Shrimp. And so just send me a fucking text. Because honestly, you know what? If you send me a text at 8, this is we're not going to be here till 9:30 or whatever the fuck. I'll go to Marina Del Rey. I will eat at Killer Shrimp myself. And then I will come see you. And I'll be in a jolly mood with a belly full of crustaceans. Holy shit. Instead of sitting in my house watching my hair gel congeal, wondering why I even wasted the time. So fuck me. Sure enough, like 10 after 9, she's like, "Oh, you know what? We're finally here. It's after 9. We already had dinner. Just want you to know. But if you want to come and meet us at this pub, here's the address. And my husband's going to come now. Is that okay?" Because she had told me before it was just going to be me and her because her husband doesn't listen to the fucking show. Well, now it's 10 after 9. And I was ditching work a little bit anyway, because I was supposed to work that night in Graveyardville, but I was willing to put it off a little bit to go see her and have shrimp. But a pub, dude, there could not be anything less fun for me to do. I mean, I'll meet somebody for a drink, that's fine. But then to just think of the fact that they were at the Packers game all day, her husband is all excited, and then he's got to go and sit there with me. He doesn't know who the fuck I am. He has no clue who I am. All he knows is that his wife won't shut the fuck up about me, and he wants to punch me in the face. I'm sure that's where it's at, okay? I'm sure he came out, he was planning, he's like, we're going to go to Newport Beach, we're going to Beverly Hills for dinner, we're going to the Packer game, honey, this is going to be amazing. She's like, don't forget I got to meet my podcast friend. He's like, what? Well, we're going to Marina Del Rey, it's going to be fun, the beach, we're going to see the sunset, it's going to be fantastic. Don't forget I got to meet my internet chum. You know that stranger I've never met in my entire life and you don't fucking care about? Yeah, I got to carve out a night for him. Is that okay? He's got to be fucking furious about that. So the last thing I want to do is show up and shake his hand and see the puss on his face as I fucking, his wife nurses a Guinness and pretends that she likes me for 5 minutes. I mean, I don't know, but nobody wants that. So I just went. So she's like, you know what? My husband's going to be there now, and it's this, and I just and also, all right. There's a weird line there where it's like she's making it sound like that's a deal breaker, and it sort of is because again, the guy doesn't know who the fuck I am. I don't want to put him through it. But the real deal breaker is the fact that it's fucking 10 after 9, and I don't get any goddamn shrimp. That's the real deal breaker because I waited. I didn't eat dinner. I fucking waited all night. I'm sitting there. I could not wait to go to Killer Shrimp. I was again, no offense, Jill, but on my list of things to do, you were number 2. No offense. I was excited and thrilled, and I could not wait to get to meet you as long as I was shoving shrimp into my maw. As long as I just put my head on the table and swam forward like a goddamn blue whale and filled it with plankton and shrimp. I was ready to listen to you talk about Wisconsin for fucking hours. But then when that fucking gets divorced from me, and it's already, like I said, I'm supposed to be at work at 10. So by the time now I climb in the car, I'm going to get there at 10, 10 to 10. And then I'm meeting you at a pub, and I don't drink. And your husband's going to be there. It just the whole thing was a brick. All right. It wasn't going to work. So I texted her back and I said, you know what? It's kind of obvious we didn't connect here. It's already 10 after 9. You guys are there and I'm sure you're tired from being out all day. And I don't, I have to go to work and it's fine. I go, you know what? We missed each other, but we'll see each other in Milwaukee. Nice try. Have a good flight. And I typed it like that, but I'm sure it came off like, no, I'm not coming. You're a jerk. You know what I mean? It's like it just because people read texts the way they want to read them. I mean, I do it all the time. Every text I've been like, what? What did that mean? That was an ampersand. Why did you put an ampersand instead of the word and? You don't have enough time to type out the A-N-D for me? You just have to type out ampersand? I will fucking analyze a text like I'm in the FBI and I'm reading. I'm a wind talker like Nicolas Cage. So I sent that and I was pissed. All right, I won't lie. I did send it. I sent a nice text, but I was being gently saying, you know what, it's okay. But I was mad because I wasn't going to get to go to fucking Marina Del Rey and have dinner. I was pissed, and I'd waited, and I wasted hair gel. So, and it's funny because I'm even telling Karen like the blow by blow the whole way, and I'm just like, this is just crazy. Like, I mean, how am I not hearing from this person? It's been, once I sent 2 phone calls and 2 texts, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. This can't happen. So then I sent that one. I was just very nice, and I genuinely said, have a nice flight. It's not going to work. So a little time goes by, and I get a text. And she's like, no, are you serious? With like a frowny face. She goes, oh, come on. Do you want me to come closer to you? I mean, I really want to do this. Which is nice. That was very nice for her to offer. But for her to come closer to me, they've been in the car for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way. If I didn't want to go see her husband in Marina Del Rey at a pub after he had just taken this exhausting drive, how excited do you think I am to make him get back into the car and drive to where I am? How fucking excited is he going to be to see me at that point? He would have hated me on their turf in Marina Del Rey over a pint. How fucking pissed is he going to be if I make him come up to where I am? Oh my God, it just made no sense. No sense. And again, it's just, we tried. It didn't happen. That's fine. So I texted her back and I go, no, honestly, it's just, it's a little late. You guys have been in the car all day, whatever, da, da, da. And I said, it's just not going to work. But again, thanks. I tried to be nice. And then a couple beats go by and I get a text from her and she's like, what? I'm feeling really stood up. I mean, we said we were going to do this. What if I said I wasn't going to come to your show in Milwaukee now?
What?
Let me get a drink, folks, while you ponder that.
My God.
And up to this point, folks, I'd been nice. As nice as I possibly could be via text and my charming voicemails. But it just wasn't to be, right? It just wasn't to be. I felt, a couple of star-crossed podcasters and fan. They weren't going to make it happen, but I'm seeing her in Milwaukee. Because again, I don't know if I mentioned this. When the Milwaukee tickets went on sale, the day they went on sale, she bought 12. 12. So get that. That's her and 11 people who are going to hate me that she's dragging to the show. That's how much she likes me in the show. She's willing to alienate 11 people close to her by making them sit through my nonsense for 2 hours. The day after Thanksgiving. I'm betting that she's calling in all these weird favors. Like, I'm betting she's actually cook a huge dinner on Thanksgiving Day for all of these people just so they'll go with her the next day. They'll be so tired they won't be able to argue. They'll be so tired and full of food and tryptophan that she will then lure them into a van and drive them to the Carte Blanche Studios for the show, and they're not going to have any idea what they're doing. They're just going to go file in because she wants to see me, which is great. And that's one of the reasons why I was going to get. She's also donated to the show twice, and been very nice and very vocal in her support. That's why I was willing to get together with her and see her. That's why I was willing to go to Marina Del Rey to see her. That's why I was willing to, whatever. That's fine. Because again, I want to accommodate people who want to meet me. I think it's fucking awesome. I think that's where it's going, quite frankly. I think you need to have this relationship with your fans in order to keep them on board with you and keep them interested in what you do. Because I think you guys, again, this is an intimate medium, and I think you know me as a person and you like me as a person. It seems like, anyway. So you know a lot about me. Okay, I'm not just some guy who put out 11 songs on a cassette and you heard it and you have no fucking touchstone with me. You know who I am as a person. And if I can reinforce that by meeting you and showing you just what a fucking jagoff I am over a bowl of shrimp, I'm willing to do that. As long as the bowl of shrimp is involved. So that's fine. I'm willing to do it. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If we're exchanging, and again, I get that message from her where she's like, "What if I didn't come to your show in Chicago, or in Milwaukee?" And I look again, you know me, folks. That was pretty much all I needed at that point.
Oh, no.
So I texted her back, and and by the way, you'll know I'm mad at you when I use your name in a text. I wish that wasn't true. Literally, if I start typing to you and then your name comes up, oh shit, you just got done, son. But I just wrote her and I said, I've got to remember the wording on it because I don't want to come off. But I said, hey Jill.
Oh.
That's right. Hey Jill, you're in Marina Del Rey. That's 45 minutes from my house. You just experienced Los Angeles. And again, I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what I typed because she's going to write me and go, bullshit, you didn't say all that. But I sort of did. All right. So, the thought was there. But I mean, exactly. I wish I should. But I said, hey, Jill, where you are is 45 minutes from me. Okay. I sent you 2 texts and 2 phone calls within an hour and never heard back. So for you to tell me that I'm standing you up, I think that's maybe a mistake because I've done all I can to try to make this happen. And now you've changed the venue and everything else. And I'll tell you what, I'm sorry it didn't work. I hope you have a good flight. I'm happy to refund your money from Milwaukee. All I need is an address from you where I can send the check. Because I'm fucking done. I didn't type that part, but you're going to lord that over me? You're going to write me and tell me, what if I didn't come to your Milwaukee show? Well, then the room would be half emptier. That's fine. I mean, there's nothing I can fucking do about it. If you don't want to come, you don't want to come. So I said, you want a refund? I'm happy to send you a check. And she texted me back, hey, I know you sent those voicemails and those texts. My battery was just about dead in the car. It was all I could do to get the 2 texts off to you that I did. I'm on US Cellular and we couldn't find a battery here, and there was nothing I could do about it. Once I got to the hotel, I ran into the lobby and plugged into the electric outlet just to send you the text about the pub. So I'm not, I've been trying to get a hold of you, but it didn't work. Okay. And I just wrote her back and I said, fine. I understand that. I'm not angry. I hope you're not angry, but it didn't work. There's nothing we can do. That's fine. And then she's like, well, what about your day tomorrow on Monday? And look, because there was more texting. I don't want to, I've said enough already. Now she wants the refund, I'm sure. But then I left. I went to Graveyardville, and then I called her. I actually called her, and she answered the phone finally. And I said, I started talking to her, and she's like, I'm sorry that this didn't happen. We're here, and I go, look, it's fine. It just, you have to recognize, I didn't stand you up. I go, if anything, you stood me up, Jill. And I was joking, and she started laughing. She goes, I didn't stand you up. I said, you know what you did? You wasted hair gel. That's what you did. This entire thing comes down to me having to use a fucking dollop of hair gel that I never would have had to use. When that bottle runs out, I'm going to look at it and know that there would have been one more dollop of hair gel in there if you hadn't make me waste it. And she started laughing. And she goes, well, what about tomorrow? I go, Jill, it doesn't work. I go, tomorrow's not going to happen. I go, because if I was coming to you, it's a different story. But for me to tell you now where to meet me, because they had dinner at 5:30 in Beverly Hills. I go, so what? You're going to have lunch with me at 3? I go, that doesn't make any sense at all. I go, I'll see you in Milwaukee. It's fine. It'll work out that way. And she was very nice. And she goes, okay, that's great, but I'm really disappointed. And I said, that's fine. I said, I understand that, but that you guys are, and she goes, I didn't realize you were as far from me as you said. I go, because I was willing to come to you and didn't bother to tell you how far it was, because I'm not going to gripe about it. Oh my God, you're all the way in Marina Del Rey. I will accommodate you. If you are here, I can make it happen. I will. But then when you start telling me you want a refund, and I said, and honestly, I don't know if you really are, if you really do want a refund, I'm happy to send you a check. And she goes, oh my God. She goes, I was kidding about that. I didn't mean that at all. Of course I'm coming to the show. And I said, all right, that's fine. So we talked about it and we hashed it out and we squared it away. And then the next day she sent me a text from Venice Beach, and then today I got a message from her. She's like, the first thing my son said when I walked in the house was, did you meet Mike?
Aww.
She goes, so now you know how really badly I wanted to do that, with a frowny face. And I was like, that's great. Did you tell your fucking son you were on the freeway not texting me for fucking 5 hours? Which I didn't say. I didn't say that. But I wanted to. Jesus, I wanted to. I understand you wanted to meet me. That's great. I wanted to meet you too. That would have been fun. But the last thing I need to do is fucking schlep your husband into it, and then I got to drive a fucking hour and a half and go to a pub, and it just broke bad. It broke bad. It happens, folks. So if you're here and you want to meet me, that's fine. Few rules of thumb. Make it easy for me. Pack an extra cell phone battery. And return any texts or emails promptly. Or voicemails, even voicemails. Because, that's all I got, folks. That's all I have. Literally, I mean, it's not the old days, okay? It's not a pay phone that you got to pull over and call me from. There's not a fucking smoke signal bullshit you got to do. No one has to send me a goddamn snail mail letter. Call me. You're in your car with your fucking phone. Turn it on. And most importantly of all, folks, and I cannot stress this strongly enough, most importantly, sure, cell phone battery, make it easy for me, text, emails, answer them, I understand that, but most importantly of all, folks, please, if you want to meet me, you have to make sure that I have proximity to seafood at all times. Shrimp, sushi, soft-shell crab, fucking fillet of fish. I don't give a good goddamn. You got to make sure I am ready to cram whatever lives into the ocean into my goddamn face while I sit there and listen to you tell me how fucking great I am.
I'm TV star Paul Gilmartin, and you're listening to the 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. I've got a podcast myself these days. I'd plug it here, but let's face it, nobody's listening to this nonsense.
You're listening to the 40-Year-Old Boy, and next, 6 white guys talking. You think 3 white guys talking is good? This show's twice as funny. Can you believe it? You know it's coming to this. 6 white guys talking on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
We're not doing enough of those. Enough breaks. We don't do enough of those because I fucking talk downhill and I don't want to stop. And then all of a sudden we're like an hour and 45 minutes in and I'm like, well, it doesn't make any sense to put a break in here. That would be awful for people if like an hour and 45 minutes in, there's like, hey, look, there's a break. That's not, what, is there another hour and 45 minutes coming? I sure hope not. Yeah, so, but we don't do enough of those because we worked fucking hard on them. I flew home for 4 days and we busted those out and I'm a fan. I like those. I mean, David does too much hard work for me to ignore those, so I should have more breaks. You're in charge of that. Why don't you tell me to do a break every once in a while?
I try, and you're always like, no, we can't break yet.
Yeah, besides that, though.
I'm sorry. As director of this show, I have no control.
What? Here, I'll send you a text about it. And then I'll call you. And then I'll send you a text, and then I'll call you again. But again, you do not want my thumbs on your bad side. Holy shit. They will scald you like boiling water. Boiling thumb water. So yeah, there you go. That was a break. And I haven't picked him even yet. I don't even know what the fuck you just heard, folks, but I'm sure it was something great. So I was, hey, I'll tell you this. It's November, which means it's a new month, which means what do we do every month? We weigh in, folks. As we weigh in and we try losing weight. And if you recall, I've been losing weight by just not even exercising, just changing what I've been eating. And pounds have been falling off. It was like 15 and then 16. And then last month it was just like 7, I think it was. And so I was like, again, this month I did not start lifting or working out, but again, still ate, tried to eat like a normal person to see what happened. So I went to weigh in, and folks, I think it's time to start exercising. That grand plan I had of just not eating for months and months it's kind of gone by the wayside. So I weighed myself. I went in and weighed myself the other day, and I was at 318. So I think that's 2 pounds I lost. Might be 3. I think it's 2. But that's good to be under 320, which is good. So 318. What are you doing there? Checking. Oh, you're looking at my pants?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wearing. I went down pant sizes. Well, I mean, I looked. You know when I really learned it when I went to Minneapolis, because I busted out the pants I was wearing before, like when I lost all the weight. You know what I mean? So I can actually get into those now. But what's funny is I just bought like 4 pairs of other pants. I have like fucking 11 pairs of jeans, and they're all different like sizes, you know what I mean? But now I can actually go to the bottom of the pile and bring the ones out that I haven't worn in over a year, and that's what I wore on stage the last times. Yes, of course. And these 2, you can tell these are different.
Good.
It is great. It is. And the good news is, like I said, I'm at 318. So I really think I can get under 3 by the end of the year. I really think I can do that. So that'll be good. I'm excited about it. And you don't care, obviously, folks. And you know what I did? I had an In-N-Out burger actually the day I weighed in, and but I had to because I was starving. It was like 1 a.m. almost, and I couldn't, because I went to Subway and I didn't like the sandwich I got there a couple days ago. So instead I went to In-N-Out, and so I went to In-N-Out. And I'm like, well, fuck, if you're getting a double, you can just get fries and a shake. Why not? So I did. I got fries and a shake, and but it was fine because again, look, folks, the whole key. You don't beat yourself up over stuff like that. You don't punish yourself. The thing is just to not eat In-N-Out burger and fries and shake every goddamn day. And if the furnace is hot enough, you can burn off whatever the fuck you put in there. Now, granted, my furnace is not hot at all. I haven't even lit the pilot light yet. However, but that's fine. Whatever the fuck. Now that's coming. So now I'm actually moving into that phase and talking to whatever. But so there. So I didn't do anything all month, but still lost like a couple pounds. So that's good. But I really think, like I said, I'll be under 3 by fucking January, which is going to be awesome. And then when the East Coast thing kicks in, when I go on the Kickstarter, I might have to buy new pants just for that. Holy shit!
Whoa!
We'll call it Mike Schmidt's New Pants Tour. I would hope I would think of a better name than that. Honestly, I've got some time. I've got a lot of time to think about it. I would hope I would come up with something better than Mike Schmidt's New Pants Tour. Did you have a suggestion? I like the fact you just opened your mouth there. That was weird. It was like you were just like,
I like that name.
The New Pants Tour?
Yeah.
I just like pants. Pants is funny. Letterman knows that. That's why he named his company Worldwide Pants. All right. So there you go. That was the weigh-in. That was fine. We're good. We're at 318. Which again is enormous. I mean, that's fucking huge and fat for any normal person. But when you figure I was 360 just like 3 months ago or 2 months ago, then that's fine. Well, on July 1st. So July to August, September, October, November. So in 4 months ago. So in 4 months, I've lost, 42 pounds, 43 pounds. So that's good. That's around 10 a month. So if I maintain that pace again, we get to fucking January and boom, under 3. And then by the end of 2012, I'll be under 2. And then by the end of 2013, under 1. And then by the end of 2014, I will disappear completely. I will waste away. Like, it'll be awesome. It'll be like having AIDS without all the AIDS stuff. That's what I want to do. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to have AIDS, but not AIDS. Like, I just want all the benefits of AIDS without all of the other terrible shit about AIDS. If there was a way to do that, folks, if you could somehow figure it out, if you can give me AIDS without having all the bad stuff, then that would be fine. So that's what I need. I need AIDS, but without all the bad AIDS part.
Awful.
So, I want my pants to fit, don't I? So there you go. That's the weigh-in. And the results of the weigh-in were noticeable as last week, folks, I flew to Chicago, Illinois. I wound up leaving on Wednesday morning. I had a flight very early, a 6 a.m. flight, which means I had to get to the airport at around 4:30 and then do all the security bullshit and all that nonsense. And it was very uneventful. When you fly that early, you don't run into a lot of people or a lot of stuff. What was I pissed off about? Look, I flew American, and it's funny. American they're my airline of choice. I've decided to make them my airline of choice because I get the miles, and then I'm in the Dining Advantage Club, and I get more miles for that and all this stuff. But having flown Delta and United and Virgin the last few months as well, to find competitive pricing, I had to fly those because I mean the American flights to all those cities that I went to were almost like $75 more. American kind of blows. Like when I like it, I sort of like it because again, it seems like they're the biggest one, and I enjoyed having. I've got a ton of miles with them, but they don't give you like on the plane. Like I was surprised Delta gave us. They gave me those, oh my God, those Biscoff, those little cinnamon cookies that I like Christmas cookies. And they give you a choice. They're like, do you want cookies, pretzels, or peanuts? And then they'll give you two of whatever you want. They'll say, pick two. So when I flew Delta to Minneapolis, I took pretzels and peanuts, not knowing that it was those Biscoff cookies. So then on the flight home from Minneapolis, they go, what do you want, cookies? I go, what kind of cookies are they? And she held them up, and I'm like, holy shit, that's the holy grail of airplane food. So I got a couple of those. And then in United, they gave us peanuts and stuff. But man, you fly American, and they want you to buy everything. They want you to buy trail mix for $8 and all that bullshit, which is fine, I guess. I don't know. I like American, but I don't like American, I found. So I flew them, and they pissed me off for some. I'm trying to remember what it was that pissed me off. I thought talking about fucking pretzels would spark my memory. They made me go to a different gate. Like they did, when you show up and they change everything. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't have to check in. I'm fine. And they go, oh, we got to walk all the way down there. And then so I'm walking, and then like, oh, well, you got to turn. It just turned into bullshit. And it was funny. I ran into a comedian guy that I know named Dan Greeter. He was in the airport flying to do a cruise ship somewhere. And so that was nice. When you see somebody in the airport. We went through security line together, and but I had no problems with it. Security was a breeze because it was early. Got on the plane, and sitting on the plane again, losing weight, you notice it. I can tell. I mean, I'm still engulfing the armrest like a fucking blob, but I mean, not nearly as bad as it was. And I don't have to slide over so much. I'm not inconveniencing people. I still get the look, but not the horrible look. I mean, because I used to be crazy big. It was funny. Bill Burr this week tweeted a picture from the airport, and he goes, "I'm praying this man is not in my row." And it was just some huge dude. I mean, like crazy big, and his gut was hanging over the armrest in the airport. Those big ass airport seats. Jesus Christ! And that, you know what? By the way, those fool the shit out of you. Those are depressing because you go and you're waiting to get on your flight for the airport, and those seats are huge, and you're like, oh well, okay. Well, why do you accommodate my fat ass in the airport lobby? But then when I get on the plane, I got to sit in a goddamn coaster. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, it makes sense. You're all trying to steal money from me, motherfuckers. You're making me pay $8 for trail mix. God damn it. All right. People have got to be so tired of me bitching about the airlines. Honestly, it's just because they're a racket. All right. So you don't own the skies. You don't own the fucking skies. So I flew to Chicago, and it turned out fine. Got there at noon. And all right, I'll tell you this. All right. The flight was from 6 o'clock, and I was getting to Chicago at noon, which is 10 o'clock. So it's a 4-hour flight. Okay. You know when we landed in Chicago? Guess, folks. Guess. Right now. Stare at your iPod vagina. You hear my voice coming out right into your tweakedaudio.com/40 earbuds. I want you to guess. Right now. Yell it. Right now. Like Howard Beale. Go to your window, open your window, and say, I'm going to guess, and I'm not going to take it anymore. And then yell out your guess. And people will wonder what the fuck you're doing, and then we'll all have a good time. I was supposed to get there at noon, Chicago time. So that's a 4-hour flight. Okay. Guess when I got there. I'm going to literally guess. Right now, you guess.
11:42.
Wow. That's weird. You thought it was a shorter flight. Because all of that buildup, it seems like I'm bitching about the fact that it would be a longer flight, which was exactly the ruse I was trying to portray.
I've been rused.
No, you saw through the ruse. You did the smart thing because my plane landed at 11:30 Chicago time. That's a 3.5-hour flight.
That's some tailwinds.
Dude, that's a 3.5-hour flight. It takes me that's less time than it takes to drive to San Francisco. I flew to fucking Chicago. That's less time than it takes to go to Vegas. Because Vegas is like 275 miles, and you're driving. It's almost the exact same amount of time. It's like, dude, I mean, what the fuck? You're kidding, right? I flew to Chicago in 3.5 hours. I wanted to hug the captain when I got off. So, what, got off? Really? That's really? Oh, my Lord. You are ridiculous. Yeah. Do you have a ring pop in your mouth? All right. So, I wanted to hug the captain when I got off, and then tee-hee, and she laughed into her boobs. All right. So then I got to Chicago. It was great. I go down, and I have a car. I have a rental car, folks. I rented a car from through Priceline. I got an amazing deal. I had an amazing ticket, amazing flight, amazing rental car price. It was one of those things on Priceline where I offered a certain amount. They're like, if you offer only $4 more a day, you can have it. Done. So I go to Avis and I stand in line and I get a full-size car because I'm a full-size man, folks. And the guy's like, all right, he's running the gamut and he's punching me in. His name was Dustin. And he's figuring me out. And then he goes, all right, well, you're going to go get a full-size car. It's right outside. I think I told you in Minneapolis, they just let me take whatever the fuck was on the line. I mean, because nobody there drives. They're all in their fucking dog sleds, walking around in their mucklucks. But in Chicago, of course, it's a big city. Like Minneapolis is not a big city. But Chicago, I figured I was going to be in for trouble, but I couldn't believe the price I got, and I got a full-size car. So he goes, all right, you're going to get a full-size. It's out there in space, U20. It's a Ford Crown Victoria. And I looked at him and I go, that sounds like an old people's car. And he goes, some people would classify it as that. And I said, oh, we got anything else? And he goes, well, hold on. He fucking taps the keys. And he goes, you know what? We've got a Nissan Rogue, which is like a little baby SUV. I said, great. How much more a day is that? And he goes, it's only $22 more a day. I said, old people car it is. So he goes, all right, well, here's the keys. And it's so funny. The second you get the keys, you know it's an old people car. Because it's got a button for the unlock and lock, and then a button to unlock the trunk. And then it had a life alert button right on there that you could punch in case you somehow had fallen in the car and could not get up. I just thought of that. That was funny. So I was like, all right, dude. I grabbed my luggage and I walked outside. And I looked. It was so funny. I get out into the lot and it's like U20. And it's so confusing because they've got so many. Everything's alphabetized. And I'm just like, look, I can follow the Dewey Decimal System. I know how to follow directions. But when you get out and you just see a bunch of cars, you're not looking for U20. You're just looking for a fucking car. But let me tell you something, folks. U20, I didn't even need the slot number. I didn't need anything because the second I walked outside, I said, I knew what fucking car it was. I knew what it was. I should tell you this before I went outside. He handed me the keys and I saw the life alert button. And he goes, okay, it's in spot U20. It's the gray Ford Crown Victoria. I said, of course it is. Of course it's gray. It doesn't come in any other color. Literally, when you go into the dealership and you order, you know, they have like, sandstone or ultra blue. When an old person goes in to shop, they go, oh, do you want the Ford Crown Victoria? It comes in your hair. That's what they say. That's actually the color listed on the brochure. It comes in your hair, silver fox, or soon to be dead. Which color would you like? And it's all the same. Like, because old people have cataracts. They don't fucking know. They'll give them this litany of colors, but they're all the same. All fucking gray. It just looks like a boiled steak. That's the color of this fucking car. So I go walking outside. I see it. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's just... and I was telling Kristen, David's wife, about it. She goes, was it parked in a handicap spot? Because then for days, like me, Max, and Kristen are just making fun of the fucking car and all the bad things that could happen. I walked up to it, and literally when I walked up to it, it was shivering, like in the cold. This car needed a shawl. That's how fucking old this car was. Like I saw it, I'm like, oh Jesus! So I pressed the button, and instead, it was funny. I unlock it. It's supposed to make that noise. Like the chink chink noise. It just kind of went chink, like it was like creaky. So I climb in it. Like some 70-year-olds in a Buick went by and pointed and laughed. Ha ha! Beep beep. Terrible. So I started the car, and I should tell you, I get in, and there's bells and whistles in all cars, new cars or whatever, because you get, and I'm always amazed when I get a new car. Like I've driven a Hyundai Sonata, and I drove last week in Minneapolis. I had a nice car. I forget what the fuck it was, but it was just really different to drive these cars. Well, I get in the Ford Crown Victoria, and it was like getting into my aunt and uncle's Thunderbird when I was 12. I mean, it just... the front seat was the full bar, like all the way across. There wasn't bucket seats. It was all together, like one bar, and there was still a separation, but there were two armrests there, so it looked like it was a full fat people, like long bar to sit on. And I started it up, and it just had a speedometer and the radio and heat. You know what I mean? It didn't have any, there was no, and the thing was, I'm so used to now with my car, my Murano, I have a camera that shows me how to back up. Well, there's nothing like that, and dude, old people, I have two different ways of thinking. Old people really need a fucking camera in their car to see how they're going to back up. But at the same time, old people don't need a camera in their car because the second they start backing up and watching it, they think they're watching television, they get lost in it. They're just, Some old person's got a camera in his car. He puts it in reverse. He just keeps backing up, waiting for Angela Lansbury to show up, and he fucking tags somebody. So it's dangerous. At the same time, while I think they need it, it is completely dangerous. And sure enough, there's no temperature gauge at all because honestly, if you're old, you already know it's too cold. You're either too hot or you're too cold. They don't need to tell you a specific number because you don't want to fucking deal with it. Clock blinking 12, never changes. It's just an old people's vehicle, an old mobile. Not even to take out the S. It's not an Oldsmobile, it's an old mobile. So I started, and it's just I'm revving it and driving it, and I go to get out of the lot, and I pay, and I give the guy the thing, and I hit the turn signal, and instead, how I go, well, instead of that, this turn signal just goes, hey, where are you going? hey, where are you going? That made me laugh. So that takes some getting used to. So I'm driving that car, and you just feel so weird. It's so huge, like it's just, and it's floating. That's the thing is, it's like you never know how fast you're going because you're just driving. You're hitting hitting the gas, and just it doesn't ever accelerate. It just kind of just moves. It feels like it's on a conveyor belt, even though when you're going 70, because you're not moving at all. You're just floating through space. And then I fucking forgot to bring cash. So there's toll roads in Chicago. I forgot all about that. So I didn't know what the fuck to do. And there was an iPass in the car, but I wasn't about to chance that because I don't fucking know what's going to happen. I don't need to get pulled over. So I go to the toll booth and I talk to I'm going to negotiate with the lady. I said, look, I don't have any cash. Do you guys take Visa cards or something? She goes, no. I can give you an IOU. Oh, okay. That seems weird, but good. I'm happy I can go through because I thought I was going to be pulled over. And she has to write down all this information. And literally there's an IOU and you can go online and pay your tolls later. But you got to pay it within 7 days. But I thought that was kind of amazing,
Wow.
Yeah. And I will tell you this too. I thought to myself that so the second I saw there was a toll and I realized I didn't have the money, I just started plunging my hands into the seats because there's got to be a bunch of spare change in there somewhere, right? It's an old people car. You would think that just magically somehow when I got in the car, one pocket would be full of change, the other full of hard candies. And like literally, I would pull up and all of a sudden I'd have $0.75, a $half, and some butterscotch. And I'd just fucking hand it to the lady and take off. But it wasn't as magical as I thought it would be. So I'm driving and I get an IOU from her. I get an IOU from another place and I go to Max's house and that's fine. Then I have to go shop and I go buy Propel and all that. And he sees the car and he's just like, oh, dude, a grandpa car? He knew immediately. I'm like, yes. So we hop in. I will tell you this. It's such a grandpa car. It turned my pants into grandpa pants because I would fucking get in the car and I'd drive. And then every time I would get out of the car, my pant leg would be above the tongue of my shirt, my shoes. And I would get out and I would have to fucking like jingle my fucking pant leg every time I got out. I'd be like, God damn it, car, old people car. It was like, like Christine. Remember Christine? When it would start up? This was like old Christine. That's what this car was. It was, you know what? That's what I had, the new adventures of old Christine. That's what I was doing on the road. God damn it, I hated it. But we hated it, but then simultaneously, we fucking loved it. Mex and I are just like, dude, we're pretending we are old. This is amazing. So I go to Mex's house, and then we had to go pick up my godson, and we just drove up in the old fucking car, and we parked, and we walked, and we told Val, we're like, dude, Uncle Mike's got a fucking crazy old people car. And he laughed when he saw it, and we put his car seat in the back, and he didn't even need a car seat, because if there was an accident, he would have had to float so far from the back seat, I would have caught him in midair like Willie Mays. I mean, he was in no danger whatsoever. So we had the grandpa car. I was at Max's house. And when I got to town on Wednesday, I had to go pick up the Chicago T-shirts. What's been going on with the T-shirts is I order them. I do all my stuff over the phone. I think I've explained that to you guys. And then I've asked them to send me a picture of the shirts so I can be assured that they look good. And they've been fighting me on that for some strange reason because nobody wants to email me a photograph, which I find odd. Just email me a motherfucking photograph, but whatever. Because they've done good work. I like the shirts. The Philadelphia shirt was amazing. New York, they've done the best they can with watercolor designs, and we like them and we're happy. So I talked to them about the shirt and they had mentioned they were having some problems with the Bender shirt. There were 3 different Chicago shirts. One was John Bender, me as John Bender, or the character Little Schmitty's John Bender. And one was, the parade scene from Ferris Bueller. And then one was the museum scene from Ferris Bueller and it was me, Lily, and Max on the shirt. Max was Cameron, I was Ferris, and Lily was Simone. So I had talked to them. I said, you don't need to ship them. because again, we can avoid the nightmare of UPS, and then it also saves me $50 because I don't have to fucking check a bag either way. I said, I'll be in Chicago. I'll come to your office. I'll pick them up. They said, great. So Wednesday, Mex and I, we picked up Val, and then we had to go that night to pick up the shirts. So we went to the place, and it's kind of funny because I've been dealing on the phone with them for months, but to put a name to the face is always strange. So I walk in, and they don't know me, I don't know them, and then I meet the people who work there, and I say, oh, you're you. I get their names. They're all great. And they go, oh, yeah, you're picking up the shirts? I said, yes. They go, fantastic. We'll go grab them. And the place is called Boomer Tees. I think I've told you that. It's in Aurora, Naperville, and they've done really good work for me. So I meet the people working the counter. They go, we'll go get the shirts. So they bring them out. And I did not bring, because I was kind of in transit. I had just landed, and we had gotten Val from school. And so I didn't grab the sheet that told me how many I ordered of what size. But luckily, they had invoices handy. So they brought out the box of shirts, and I opened them, and I looked. And, like I said, they were having some problem with the Bender shirt because when Max drew it, in Breakfast Club, Bender is walking out at dusk. And he's essentially in shadow. So Mex wanted to make it where you could still see my face and everything. So he made it dusk, like he worked the photograph or the painting, so it was still dusk, but you could see me and see my shirt. Well, what they were saying was because it was dusk, they were losing all of the detail on the shirt and the coat. Like it was almost black all the way. I looked like basically instead of Bender, I looked like I was Dylan Klebold leaving Columbine. Which was actually on the agenda for the Denver shirt. We did think about that. But we thought better of it. So I told Mex, and then Mex said, all right, well, I'll give them a lighter version of the painting, and we worked it that way. So they said, great, this works perfect. So I show up, and I open the box, and the Bender shirt, it looks good. It didn't look fantastic because the lettering on Mike Schmidt was purple, and that bled into the actual painting where the clouds were then purple. The sky became kind of overcast purple instead of, just a regular gray overcast sky. But it's okay. I can live with that because Mex was with me. So I showed that to him, and he goes, dude, it's tough working with watercolors. They did what they can, and I'm cool with that. Because here's the thing, Mex has final word on the shirts, in my opinion, because he designed them, he created them. I want him to be able to tell me what's good and what doesn't, because I want him represented as best as he possibly can be as an artist. I still have a lot of input. I'll help design them and things like that, but he's the bottom line as far as, because to me, I see stuff and I'm just like, is this supposed to look like this? And he'll say yes or no, which is fine. And, up to this point, they've done a great job with the watercolor. So he sees that sky. He goes, I can live with that. I go, you sure? And he goes, yeah. Because I should tell you, when we were doing the Skull Pie shirts before, the initial run of Skull Pie shirts were good. And then all of a sudden, they somehow fell off a cliff. And I don't want to get into that, whatever the fuck. I don't want to indict shirt companies. But suffice it to say, they started using a different procedure than they told us they would because it was less expensive. Whatever the fuck, who cares? That's one of the reasons I stopped doing the Skull Pie shirts. So we finally found a place that was willing to do what we said. And he told me, he goes, well, I can live with that. He goes, it's part of the painting, and it still looks like the sky. It's fine. I said, okay, that's fine. That's all I want to hear. So then we pull out the museum pictures, and those look fantastic. It's me, Lily, and Max. And I said, is this right? And he goes, yeah. And we count all the shirts. We figured the sizes out. Oh, and they shorted me a XX on Bender. So they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll take care of that. I said, okay, great. So then I pull out the other museum shirts, and they're very nice. They were accommodating, and it's this T-shirt shop that usually does, logos for high schools. But now that I'm pulling out all these ridiculous pictures of me, and it seems so strange. So I pull out the museum one. They look great. I count them up. They're fine. So then I pull out the parade picture, and I should tell you also in the museum picture, the lettering was green, but then it was in the museum and it popped. It still looked really good. But there was kind of a patina of film. It was darker than it should have been, in my opinion. And I said that to Megs, and he goes, yeah. He goes, because again, it's hard to duplicate a painting and make it bright with the other colors. And they're trying to make it work with so many colors. Because, Megs is wearing a red shirt. The lettering is teal, and Lily's wearing white. And it's hard to do, I guess. I don't know anything about fucking T-shirts. So then I pull out the parade float ones, and those are Bears colors. It's a blue shirt with orange and white lettering, and then the parade scene. And there's a ton of colors in that. So I start to flip it, and I'm like, they're the top two. I'm like, oh, these look a little washed out. And I said to Mex, and he goes, yeah, those don't look great. And then I get past the first two, and then the next 10 I think 8 shirts, no, 10 shirts, have no color whatsoever. No orange, No, they look like a black and white transfer. Like so I start to unfold, and I look, folks, you know me. I lose my fucking mind at shit like that. And I started flipping through because people have pre-bought these shirts. This was the first time, Minneapolis and Chicago, the first time we pre-sold shirts. Normally, if there's a mistake, I can just go, well, fix it. But no, they can't fix it. I mean, I need these shirts by fucking Friday. They have to be done. So I start flipping and I see no colors. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I called them over and they were like, oh, yeah, these look good. And I go, no, those don't look good. I go, they look better than these because these are shit. You know what I'm trying to be nice about it. But they're like, well, so are these okay? And I just kicked the microphone stand. That was weird. I didn't mean to. I'm trying, folks, tight quarters here. Me and Lily face to face in a showdown. So like I said, I needed to, 2 of the shirts were okay. I flipped through and I find 2 shirts that I can actually, Mexicans, I can live with those 2. The rest of them are absolutely not. So they had to go get Boomer himself. And Boomer comes out. And by the way, none of these people look exactly how the way I think they would look. It's so crazy. Like in my head, I'm like, there's a girl named Brittany. I'm like, well, she's a little blonde. No, she was not. You know what I mean? She's a brunette. All these different people. So Boomer comes out and he looks nothing like I thought. Because I thought, you hear Boomer, you think it's some big burly dude. No, he's like just fucking, he's like a rail. He looks, like a thin dude. He's got tattoos all over his arms. And he's a little older, but he's still, it doesn't matter. On the phone, he's all Chicago. He's like, hey, how's that going? How's them shirts going? Those are nice. Yeah, I like that design you got there. So he walks out and I start talking to him and I go, dude, this is unacceptable. And he goes, oh, wow, I wonder why I did that. I go, I don't know. But you actually boxed these up to give them to me. Does nobody look at them when they're done getting printed? Because I don't think I'm wrong asking that question, right? I mean, isn't there any quality control? Wouldn't somebody see them? I understand they're on the bottom of the box, but were you hoping to hide them in the bottom of the box and that I wouldn't fucking see this? And I'm trying to be nice about it. And he goes, no. And he goes, you know what? It's probably... And then he starts to vaguely dance around it like he didn't do it, but there's another guy who does it late at night, and then he probably just didn't keep an eye on it, and then they just folded the shirts and put them away. And I'm like, okay. I go, you do know now why I want a photograph for the shirts. And then he and David said, well, that really wouldn't help because we would have taken a photograph of the first one, which you said is right. It's got the orange on it. And I go, okay. If you sent this in a box to me in California and I opened it up, I would have gone insane, right? And he's like, oh, well, it never would have gotten that far. I go, don't tell me it wouldn't have gotten that far. It's in a box now. I mean, what the fuck? And so they look, they pull it out and they look at it and they start doing a count on it. And he's like, oh my God, I'm really sorry. I'll redo these by tomorrow. They'll be done by tomorrow, which I will tell you this though, when they're telling me they'll have them done by the next day, why the fuck is it taking them 3 weeks to do my initial order? Why couldn't, I guess because they're busy and it's, you take orders as they come in and I guess it's a priority and you bump me to the front, whatever the fuck. I have no idea, but it just seems weird. So I'm apoplectic. You know me, I'm crazy. So of course now there's something wrong. There's something fucking wrong. And they take the shirts and I take the other shirts and I box them up and I split and I go to Dave's house. I'm looking at him like, dude, that's crazy. They're going to fix it. And he's trying to calm me the fuck down. And then finally I go in the next day to go pick up the shirts, which was Thursday. And I went by myself. Dave didn't come with me. And I walked in and I flipped through the shirts and, they were perfect. They were gorgeous and orange. They had to redo 12 of them. There were 6 in the box. And it's now 5:30 on Thursday. I need these for the show the next day. And I look at the kid running the counter and I go, there's only 6 shirts. And he goes, well, yeah, that's fine. And I go, no. I needed 12. There's supposed to be 12. And I should tell you, they also put the double X of Bender in there too. They made good on that. But I said, there's 12 shirts. He had to redo 12 shirts. I need 12 shirts. And he goes, oh, why? I mean, you're sure? And he goes, this is the only box back there. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm trying to be calm. So he goes in the back and I go, dude, do me a favor. Find the old shirts. If you find the old shirts, count them. You'll see. I need 12 shirts. He goes, well, are you sure it's 12? I go, count them. So he goes in the back and then he brings somebody else and they're all looking and Boomer's not there because it's late in the day and they're all looking around the fucking place and they bring out the invoice. He's like, oh yeah, you do need 12. And I go, I got to make a phone call. So I go outside and I called Mex because I was supposed to be home for dinner with the family. And I called him. I go, look, it's going to be some time because they fucked this up. And he's like, what? And I go, dude, I'm supposed to have 12 shirts. There's only 6. I can't even get into it. I'll be there when I get there. I'm very sorry. And I hang up. And I'm in the parking lot trying to calm myself down. Because again, people have prepaid. If they didn't prepay, who fucking cares? I only sell 6 shirts instead of 12, whatever. But people prepaid. So I owe people shirts. So I walk back in, and the kid running the counter, he goes, we fixed it. I go, what do you mean you made new shirts? He goes, come here. So there's 6 shirts. Because I picked up, there's shirts stuck to them. They're like stuck together. Like, because I pulled them aside, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, each one had 2 shirts in it.
Oh, they double folded?
They double folded them.
Oh.
So I pull it aside, and I'm like, oh. And so I start counting them, and there's 12. And I'm like, God damn it, finally. And they were all fine. They were all printed nice. Everything was good. And I just looked at him, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I was going to lose my fucking mind. And the guy's like, I thought I was crazy. Like, I couldn't find him either. The invoice right there. And is that, because then, when there's a crisis and then it's averted, you're all like, ah, ha, ha, ha. It's like the end of a sitcom in the 80s where everybody laughs and they look up in the sky, ah, ha, ha. Well, what a misunderstanding, Mr. Roper. And that's exactly what it was. I was just like, all right, Mr. Roper, I'm going to take my fucking shirts, get the fuck out of here before something else bad happens, before somebody spills a shake on them or something. And so I grabbed my shirts, I got the fuck out of there. But it took 2 days, but finally the shirts were fine. And look, I only tell you this long and tedious, horribly boring story about fucking t-shirts to prove to you that shit fucking happens to me all the goddamn time. Nothing just happens, and nothing goes smoothly. Nothing goes smoothly. Either UPS fucking dicks around my shirts. The Minneapolis ones were the only one. It was like they were made, they were gorgeous, they came, they were perfect, everything was fine. But yeah, I was so fucking furious. And then it squared away, everything was good. So I got to go back to Max's house. And it's funny, I stayed at Dave's. I didn't get a hotel. And I love staying at Dave's. I've stayed with Dave's my whole life. They have a room that they call Uncle Mike's room, basically. Whenever I'm in town, I stay there. And it's, Dave and Kristen and his kids, who are essentially, I consider my niece and nephew. It's my godson, Val, and his sister, Ava. And Ava, oh my God, Ava's 13. I remember when she was small and growing up and all that stuff. And I would be there and I would see them, and they were like all excited because Uncle Mike was in town and I was the funny guy at the dinner table, and that was fine. But now Ava's 13, so she's like people. And it's so weird that she's people. So she's up in her room all the time. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you this. My room is right next to her room. So I was walking across the hallway once, and I saw a man in her room out of the fucking corner of my eye. The door was open. I saw a dude, and I was like, what the fuck? And I wheeled, and I looked, and it took me a second to figure it out. It was a life-size cutout of Taylor Lautner from fucking Twilight. The werewolf. But it's such a perfect likeness, it's amazing. It's a stand-up, one of those cardboard stand-ups from a video store. It looked exactly like him, and from a distance out of the corner of my eye, I thought there was a man in Ava's room. So it's like, if it would have been dark, I would have just fucking tackled him. I wouldn't have even thought twice. I would have just burst in there and fucking tackled him and beat the shit out of him. But finally I saw him, and I was like, what the hell? And I leaned over, and then there's another one. There's like a life-size Justin Bieber in her room too. And I was like, whoa, dude, crazy. So she walked out, and I go, those guys scared me. And she starts laughing. I go, I thought those were dudes in your room. That's not good. Keep the door closed. Freaking me out. And then I walk, and it's so funny because there's to use the restroom upstairs, I have to walk past, and she's always up there now, because before she wasn't up there, so I could like fucking just wear a pair of shorts and go in and take a shower. But now I have to, make sure my shirt's on, because I don't want to traumatize her by seeing Uncle Mike with his shirt off. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm being serious, because I don't want to be that cliche. We all know, we all had uncles when we were a kid, and they've turned into uncles. You're like, dude, if I would have seen my Uncle Pudge without a shirt on, I wouldn't even be doing the show. I'd be lying on a couch somewhere or in a fucking rubber room, just talking about my Uncle Pudge's nipples to whoever will fucking listen. Jesus Christ. She shouldn't have to go through that. I don't want her to deal with that. Because you know what? If the boy sees me, if the fucking boy sees me without a shirt on, he's just like, Uncle Mike doesn't have a shirt on. But if Ava sees it, it's just like so creepy and horrible. I can't subject her to that. And now it's at the point, and this is totally true, I won't use the bathroom if they're there. I won't shit in the bathroom if the kids are there, because I don't want to be Uncle Mike who ruined the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like that weird cliche. Because we all had grandpas or uncles who would go in and they would fuck up a bowl, and they would walk out and they'd be like, ha ha ha, hilarious, enjoy it. And they'd maybe shove you in the room and close the door or whatever. They'd laugh, or they'd fan it with a newspaper, all that bullshit stuff you see in the movies, or stuff you saw because my uncle fed me blue cheese when I was a kid. Like every one of us, he just gave us a sliver of blue cheese just to see our face, and then he just started laughing until he cried. He thought it was fucking hysterical. Well, I don't want to be that dude, man. I mean, I don't want to be. I'm Uncle Mike in name only. I don't want to act like a goddamn uncle. So the last thing I want to do is fucking completely pollute the upstairs bathroom. And then she's got like a friend over for a sleepover, and then they are just, it's just my disgusting uncle. I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, I avoid to the point where I actually considered like going to a restaurant to go use their bathroom. So I didn't I would go to that length to not be an uncle who's just like an uncle cliche. I can't have it happen. I don't want to be Uncle Cliche. Uncle Mike is fine. Be funny at the dinner table and we're all enjoying me there. I don't want to be Uncle Cliche. I cannot be Uncle Cliche. And again, I'm weird. I know I'm a weird dude, but that's fine. That's how it is in my brain. But I won't stay anywhere else. When I'm in Chicago, I'm fucking staying there. It's fantastic. I love seeing them, seeing the kids. And then I was getting ready for the show Friday, and I told Mex, I'm like, dude, I'm going to be no good to you Friday. I'm just going to be figuring stuff out. So I had to be at the theater at stage 773 by, I said 5:30 or 6 for tech. And I'll tell you this about stage 773. Jill, who ran it, was really nice. You know, she was really cool. She sent me a contract. I paid to rent it. Everything was fine. And I had asked them, I said, can you, they said, well, we'll sell your tickets through the box office. Then they take a cut of that. And I'm like, no, that's okay. I'll handle my ticket sales through Brown Paper Tickets. And she's like, well, if you do that, we can't promote your show. I said, that's fine. I'll promote my show. I'll do it on Twitter and through Facebook and through the podcast. She's like, all right, well, we can't even list it on the website. Which, whatever the fuck. You got your rules. That's fine. But that just seems like petty bullshit at that point, that you can't take a cut of my ticket. I'm already paying you a flat fee to rent the room. Just now because you can't get a cut of ticket sales. And she's like, no, it's contracts. It's just our arrangement, blah, blah, blah. All that, again, union, who the fuck knows? They always come up with some rule. But that was it. They couldn't promote me. And I said, that's fine. I'll promote it myself. So, and I should tell you this too. When I rented the theater, they have 3 rooms on site. They have one room that holds like 150. They have a room that holds 80. And they have a room that holds 70. And I wanted the room that held 80. Because I was optimistic about coming to Chicago. I'm like, I know people. Maybe I can do well, sell some tickets. And she's like, nah, we can't do that. And I said, well, no, actually, she didn't say that. I wrote her what I wanted and all that. And she goes, great. She goes, you're all set for November 4th in the cabaret room. Well, I didn't want the cabaret room. I wanted the one above it. And so I wrote her and I go, you're telling me I have the cabaret room. I don't want that one. I would like the mid-size room if it's possible. And she's like, no, we can't do that because we don't put stand-up shows in those rooms because people who need a set are in there because it's much larger. And I said, I mean, whatever the fuck. Okay. I said, to me, it's like, I'm going to sell tickets. I mean, what, you're going to have a full house. You said you have a bar, whatever. I just don't understand anything, folks. That's the bottom line. I don't understand fucking rentals or theaters or t-shirts or bullshit. I just want to talk. I want to show up and talk to you people. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. I signed the contract, and they were very professional. Everything was great. I sold tickets. They were online. And I get to Chicago, and this is Wednesday. I get to town. I get an email from a guy who works at the theater. And he tells me, hey, Mike, Jill forwarded me your information about the show this weekend. I just want to let you know that I'm the guy who runs, PR or whatever. So I want to go ahead and put you on the website, and we'll start selling your tickets right now. Just go ahead and give me the information and tell me how much, and then we take this amount and blah, blah, blah. And so I wrote him, and I said, no need. I'm selling my own tickets on the web right now. And then part of me wanted to type a paragraph. Why the fuck are you contacting me 2 days before my show? Now you're going to put the tickets on sale, and now you're going to list me on the... What good do you think that's going to fucking do? Has it been sitting on his desk this long? And then he finally just blew all the dust off. I'm like, whoa, what's this? I got to contact this fucking guy. I mean, I had no fucking clue. So I wrote him, and I was like, yeah. And I go, but I do need to know who the tech person is because I need to find out about the microphone and all the stuff that I got to figure out. And then he wrote me back, and all he said was, fine, here's your tech person. I've copied her, so go ahead and contact her. And again, it just seems so informal and personal. I don't know if I want him to say, have a good show, or, oh, no problem, I didn't understand. I don't know what the fuck I want, folks. You know what? I want people to kiss my ass. That's what I fucking want. So I contacted the tech lady, and she never contacted me back. So I'm like, all right, well, that's going to be fucking weird on Friday when I show up and they go, oh, there's no microphones or sound. Oh, and by the way, you can't be too loud. And just, what the fuck, some weird rule. So finally Thursday when I'm dealing with the t-shirt bullshit, she finally calls me. Emily is her name, and she called me. And so I said to her, I go, look, I need a microphone with a round base. She said, great. I said, do you do iPod or CD? She was so accommodating and answered every single question, and I loved her. I was so happy. So Friday we get ready. We go to the show, and the show's in downtown Chicago. So I have to be there between 5:30 and 6 for tech. And Max is like, well, let's leave at 4. I said, that's fine. So, we spirited the kids off to Grandma's house, and we go ahead and hop in the car. And I asked Max if he would drive because I didn't want to drive the old man car down there because I got to get in my headspace for a show. The last thing I need to do is to be thinking about, the 20s. I don't need to break a hip So he's like, all right, well, I'll drive. So he drove. We went downtown, and we left at 4:20, and then it was 4:30, and then it was 4:45, and then it was 5, and then it was 5:15, and then it was 5:30, and I'm supposed to be there for tech around 5:30. I said, but don't worry about it. As long as I get there by 6, it'll be fine. At 5:30, we're still like fucking 25 miles from the theater because of traffic. And then we're driving, and then we're still driving, and then it's 5:45, and then I send a text to Emily, and I don't hear back, and then I send her another text at 6 o'clock. And I go, look, I'm sorry, I'm still in traffic. And she writes me back, don't worry about it, not a problem. So then we're driving, and then we're still in traffic, and we're driving in traffic. And the show's at 7:30. If I mentioned that the show's at 7:30, and I'm supposed to be there around 5:30 and 6 for tech, and the show's at 7:30, and then finally at 6:30, we finally get on the street where the theater is, and then we're looking to park, and we're pulling up, and I finally at 6:40 get out of my car. Show's at 7:30. I get out of the car at 6:40. I haven't even done tech yet. So I walk in, and the theater's pretty much empty. This lobby, there's a bar, and then there's a cashier. There's a woman at the cashier station, and I walk up to her, and I'm carrying my t-shirts. Max is valeting the car, and I walk up to the lady at the cash register, and I go, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "I have a show here tonight." She goes, "Are you Mike Schmidt?" I said, "Yeah, I am. Thanks." And she goes, "Okay, well, you're in that room right over there," and she points at it. I go, "Great. I go, I have a will call list. Can I leave that with you, and you'll check people off?" And she said, "No." I said, "What?" And she goes, "Well, we were told that you were handling ticket sales yourself." I said, I am. I should tell you this, folks. I found out the morning of the show that the show was sold out. There were no more tickets available. Normally, every theater's been very nice. Phoenix, Portland, everywhere they've been very cool. In Minnesota, they went above and beyond. They will work the door, and they will actually handle walk-up sales for me and then give me the money afterwards. They'll write down who came in. They're very cool about it. But the good news in Chicago was I didn't need any walk-up sales because the fucking show was sold out. So I gave her I had the list, and I said, "Can you?" She goes, "Well, we were told you were handling your own ticket sales." I said, "I did, and it's sold out. All I need from you is if you could go ahead and just take tickets from people, just some semblance of professionalism where it looks like they have to check in and you check their name off, and then that's fine." And she goes, "No, I can't do that." I said, "Why not?" She said, "Well, it's a contract thing." I said, "What does that even mean? A contract thing? Like, a union arrangement? I mean, are the Teamsters going to come in and break your fucking knuckles for writing out, it's ink. All it's worth, it's ink. You say hello and you cross somebody's name off. It's ink." And I'm fucking pissed anyway because I'm late. I'm running late. I haven't done the tech yet. And she just goes, "I'm sorry. I can't do it for you. If you didn't sell tickets through us, I can't help you." And I go, "So it's just pretty much Lord of the Flies. People will wander in whenever they want." She goes, "Yeah, when they come in, I'll tell them where the room is." And then she goes, "You know what? Your show's at 7:30. If you want to sit outside and start taking tickets and checking," I go, "No, I'm in the fucking show. I'm the show. I'm not a fucking ticket taker." Fine, forget it. I go, "You know what? Then just let anybody in. I don't give a shit." I go, "People have tickets, no tickets, just point them. That's fine." And she goes, "Okay." And she goes back to reading her fucking bodice ripper novel. Sitting in an empty fucking lobby. Furious. So I fucking go over. I walk in, and I walk in the space, and it says it seats 70. And it's a funky space. It was really cool, but Jesus, I'm like, there's no way you're going to get 70 fucking people in here. There might be 70 chairs, but not going to be fucking comfortable. There was bench seating and other chairs. It was real nice because they had just renovated it, but it looked so small to me, like so fucking small. But I was okay because I like an intimate space. That's what I want. And I don't mind if people are right on top of me. That's fine. But it just, when I walked in, because I'm worried, because it's funny. I had friends who wanted to come who missed buying tickets. They wrote me and they're like, "Dude, it's sold out." I go, "I know, I told you." I go, "If you want to come and hang out at the bar, and then once people are seated," because that's one of the things I wanted a will call person for, because they could check everybody. If I knew how many seats I could have, I could seat other people. But now I fucking can't. So I told my friend, I go, "Just come down." I go, "You know what? If you just come down, hang out at the bar, and then try to slip in, we'll get you in, and we'll figure it out." But I go, "The problem is, I have to wait till everybody who bought a ticket is seated. I can have somebody who drove from fucking Kentucky not sitting down because I want my buddy in there. It doesn't make any sense." He's like, "All right, cool." So I walk in, and Max is there with Kristen, and they were actually going to go kill time, but finally we're so close to showtime, they're just going to hang out. So I reserved tables for them. I reserved tables for my friends who were coming, and so they could all. I just wanted them to be able to sit together. And they had bought tickets. It wasn't, I was whatever the fuck. So then Emily shows up. She's like, "Hey, I'm Emily. I'm the tech person." I said, "Nice to see you." I said, "Outside they won't take tickets." I go, "Is there a way you can do that?" She's like, I really can't because I'm going to be running your stuff. I'm going to be upstairs." She goes, "But what I can do is I'll announce that the house is being seated. I'll go out and tell them 5 minutes." I said, she said, "I'll do all of that, but I can't take tickets." I go, that's fine as long as they know the show is going to start." So then Emily and I run tech, and let me tell you something, folks. As unhelpful as the fucking woman at the cash register was, Emily I want to hire her to come on the road with me because she was so friendly and so nice, and she got it. Like other cities, I tell them we run the tech and I show them what to do, and literally it's just hit the music, turn the lights off, hit the music, turn the lights on. It's kind of simple, it seems like to me, but every city they muck it up, they fuck it up, and that's fine because they're not working for me. I get that, but Emily, from the jump, she knew exactly what to do, and the lights would go off, and the music would start at the same exact fucking time. I was shocked. And I said to her, I go, I can't believe you're doing this well. This is fucking amazing. And it calmed me down because I was so fucking pissed at everything else at that point. To know that at least I had one person who was competent and knew what the fuck they were doing, I was thrilled. Other than myself, although I'm not competent and know what the fuck I'm doing, seriously. So then she was very cool about it. She was going to help me out, and then I went in the back, and I had a dressing room. And then people started to file in, and I could hear them. And she kept coming back and going, "Hey, we'll give you a time. We'll give you this. When you go, and I'll arrange it." And that was fine with me. Again, whatever she could take off my plate was fine. Because I got to tell you something, folks. I booked this show and I was excited because finally, David was going to get to see it. He's heard it. He heard I recorded it in San Francisco and sent it to him. But I was excited he was going to finally see it, and I was super excited that my friends were going to come, and I was going to do the show in Chicago, and it was a homecoming, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But another truth though is I was scared out of my fucking mind, out of my mind. I'm scared every time I do the show. Minneapolis, Portland, wherever I'm going, I worry about it, just because I want it to go well. I mean, I obviously want it to go well, and also I never know how it's going to be received because it's kind of the same as what I do here, but it's different, and I'm in the room, and it's immediate, and I think I'm funny, and I can get immediate feedback from people. I like doing that, and I like when you're there, and it's just a different animal, and I'm always worried about it. But Chicago, I was probably doubly worried, triply worried, if triply is a word. Did I make up a word? I think I did. Because people I knew were going to be there. Not just the people who grew up, because the people who grew up with me, look, they know me, all right? So they're predisposed to like me and whatever I do. They're going to pretend, at least to my face, that they enjoyed it, and then they can get in a car and drive home and go, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is Mike doing? You know what I mean? Which is fine. I mean, they love me anyway. I've known them for fucking 30 years. But there were other people coming to the show who also have known me that long, but aren't predisposed to give me the benefit of the doubt. They knew me in school, and they haven't seen me since, and they just know that I'm a comic. But my friend Jimmy O went ahead. He's one of the UN of Evil. Jimmy O put this show on our old high school's Facebook page.
Oh, Jesus!
To tell people that I was coming to town. And he was gung-ho. He was really excited because he saw the show in Denver. And then he told me about that. And I said, Jimmy, that's cool. But a lot of these people don't know what I do. And so they are going to come expecting it to be a comedy show where even if I was headlining, I'd be doing 45 minutes. Well, to ask these people who've never fucking seen me to come and sit in a room with me for over 2 hours as I tell stories about people they know, quite frankly... It just seemed dicey, like a real weird crapshoot. And the thing that's funny to me is Jimmy O, I should tell you this. Jimmy O, he saw the show in Denver. Jimmy O, he's listened to the podcast since the beginning, and he listens to it on planes. He does whatever he's going to do. Well, he came to see the show in Denver with Dennis, who was also in the UN of Evil. And then at that point, Jimmy O decided he was my booking agent. So Jimmy O started to get involved in the show with ideas and things that we should do and things we shouldn't do. He wrote me and he's like, hey, Mike, or he texted me. He texted me when I was in Minneapolis. I got a text from him and said, guess where I am? Fuck, I don't know. What? And so he goes, and he started sending me pictures. He sent me pictures of the theater in Chicago. He goes, I'm here. I was in Chicago and I saw the sign, so I popped in. I'm giving you the layout. Here's the bar. Your room is here. I can't get into the theater because there's a show going on, but it's a really nice place. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And he goes, yeah. And what's funny is there's a lot of places to eat or hang out around here. Right across the street, there's a restaurant, and up the street, there's another sports bar. And I went and checked that out. We're right by Wrigleyville. Sluggers is over there. If you'll go ahead and park here. And I'm just like, all right, Jimmy O, scale it down, buddy. You need to throttle down a little bit because, that's great and all that, but I'm coming to town to do a fucking show. I don't give a shit about what's in the neighborhood. I just want to come and talk. But I understood what he was doing. It was great. He was he was so excited for it that he was trying to become involved. So it made me laugh then when he kept texting me ideas. He would send me, he's like, hey, Schmitty, I just want to tell you, Max is coming to the show and people are going to be excited to meet him too. Maybe you should bring some 40-year-old boy artwork and sell it to people there because that's a good way for you to go ahead and make some money. And I'm like, Jim, that's great. It sounds good. But right, we've talked about selling the artwork, but we don't know how to do it just yet. I'm not sure if the live venue makes sense. But thank you. That's cool. he goes, all right, I just thought it'd be a good idea. You know what you could do? You could put it on eBay, and you could put it on there and see if there's any market for it, because then people could bid it up, and there'd be a certain point, and you could reserve it, and then they could get the artwork. But I'm like, Jim, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And again, it's all enthusiasm, and I get that. But it's all I can do to make sure I say the proper words in the proper fucking order when I get to town. I mean, it's so funny. You know what it made me think of? And this is going to sound, believe me, on a tinier, much tinier scale. But when athletes make the World Series or the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals or the Stanley Cup, they always talk about the distractions of family members trying to get tickets from them. And they always talk about how it's so weird when people contact them to try to get all this stuff straightened out, and they have to make sure their family's sitting and take care of them. And you always laugh. You're just like, whatever the fuck, dude. Play your football game and who cares? But I kind of understood what they were saying, because Jimmy, while all great ideas, I was still trying to figure out what the fuck I was going to say. I mean, I need to make sure that I'm funny. That's all I care about. So then I tell Dave this, and Dave thinks it's fucking hilarious. And we're like, dude, we should set up a booth where you just do caricatures of people on tricycles at this point to make Jimmy O happy. So then I get an email from Jimmy O the day before the show, the Thursday. He's like, Schmitty, I just want to tell you this. I know you got the other text and stuff, but I just saw a movie, and it was about this family who has chimps, and they taught these chimps to do artwork. And these chimps go ahead, and what they do is they do original artwork, and then they sell the artwork for $250 each. And sometimes if people can't afford the original, they go ahead and just get a print of it for $150 each. So, dude, if these guys can get their chimps to make this artwork and sell it for $250 each, you and Max could go ahead and make at least some money like that if you're going ahead and put it out there. Not that I'm calling you guys chimps, of course. Oh, and I should tell you this. In the movie, unfortunately, one of the chimps went crazy, and it tore the face off one of the kids in the family. Anyway, I really think it's a good idea. He meant it. It wasn't even like a goof. Like, it was truly serious. He's like telling me about chimps and artwork and all this. I'm just like, Jimmy, what the fuck? At this point, I want to go to Brookfield Zoo and hire a couple of chimps to come out and do fucking paintings of Jimmy just to shut him the fuck up. And I mean that with love, because again, he's so excited and he's trying to help. So then when I told him, he put it on the Class of 84's page for BHS, and I told him, dude, I'm a little worried about this. These people don't know me. He goes, well, do you want me to go in and fix it? I go, you do whatever you want, Jim. That's fine. So then he goes in and he clarifies, I saw the show in Denver, and it's not exactly a stand-up show. It gets pretty intense, and it's a little longer. Like, he gave a huge description. It was awesome. He did it complete justice. But then I felt bad, like I'm making him be my bulldozer. I don't even promote the fucking show that much. But it was awesome to see somebody so excited, and somebody that I know. But still, I was nervous. So to have Emily take that much off my plate when I got to the club. And also, you know what? It's funny. I bitch about traffic. I bitch about getting there. I bitch about the fucking people at the cash register. And I bitch at all this different stuff. But when I finally sat down in the back, the show was supposed to start at 7:30. I didn't get tech done and sit down until 7:15. So I'm sitting there. I didn't have time to be nervous. I didn't have time to worry about what the fuck I was going to say, because I was able to sit back there and all right, you're going to laugh. You know what I did in the 15 minutes that I was back there? Mainly, I opened up my notebook and I looked and I tried to figure out what I was going to say, but then I would catch myself in the mirror and I would look at myself because my hair looked fucking great. I looked great. So I kept looking at my hair and like my jawline, and I'm like, because I'm losing weight and I'm liking the way I'm look these days. So I kept looking in the mirror, and this is how bad my ADD is. I would be looking at my notes, and then I would see myself in the mirror, and then I'd look up. And I'd make a face, and I'd kind of like move my hair, and I'd go, yeah, you look good. All right. And then I would look down at my notes, and then I would turn around, and I'd see my face, and I'd look up, and I'd turn my head. Yeah, you look good. Make a little smiley face, make a little dimple face. And I started to think about posing for pictures after the show. I got completely out of my own head about trying to be funny and started to figure out what was going to fucking happen after the show. And all of a sudden she comes back, and she's like, this could be the last song if you want. You want to go in 5 minutes? I'm like, yeah. So Emily was really cool, and she went out there, and I was again so nervous because people who didn't know me were going to be at the fucking show. My friend Dean, and then my friend Liza, and my friend Tess, all these people that I've known that I haven't seen in forever. And then she went out and she announced me, and I walked out. I walked into the room, which it looked really small and cold when I had been in there before. When she announced me and I walked out, it was this incredibly loud applause, and the place was packed. Like you could not, there was not a seat. You couldn't get in. And I went out there, and I started the show, and it was fucking fantastic. I'm not going to lie to you. It was all of my friends were seated to stage right. Stage left, the right, whatever the fuck, you don't care. No one cares. And I blazed through the show. I had to get done early. No, not early, but I mean, I couldn't do what I usually do because there was a show after me in the same space. And so the show was of 2 hours and 35 minutes. In Minneapolis, it had been 3 hours. But what happened was, and I'll tell you this, I added a story that I've never told on stage. I added the story about when I hid in my friend's shower. Which I did on purpose because all of these people from school were going to be there, and I wanted them to hear that story because they know George. So I'm like, yeah, I'll fucking add that because someone suggested it. You know who suggested it? Gio. My friend, guy Gio, the Adam Carolla super fan who had me on his podcast and stuff. He loves my show. He came to Minneapolis. He's like, dude, you got to tell that story. And I'm like, I was thinking, I've been toying with it about adding stuff for next week. He's like, you really should do it. And Max had suggested it too. And so I said, well, fuck it. I'm going to do it. I did it up top because you know why? Because I didn't have that much of a ramp up because, literally I got an old people car. That's it. You've heard. That was all that happened. I didn't even tell them the t-shirt story. You know what I mean? Because why bore them with that? But I talked about the Ford Crown Victoria for a while, and then I told the George Arnold story. I'm like, well, I really want to get this story out. And I got to tell you, man, telling it live was so different because I could act it out. Like I could actually, instead of just sitting here and relating it to you, the stage was small, which lent itself to the story because I could actually pin myself to the back wall like I was in the shower and pretend, and really I found myself, because I was, all right, I won't lie. I was worried about telling it effectively because I haven't told it since I told it here on the show. I did try it once. I think I did a comedy show once where the comedian there was a cartoonist drawing along with me. I think I related that on here. And so I told the story in a really, really truncated version. I didn't get to live in it. It was only like a 5 to 7 minute version of that story. Well, this time I told it for real. And I got to tell it from beginning to end. And I didn't even I just said I was suspended. I didn't even tell the part about Reagan and everything. I just told the story. And, fuck, it was so great. It was so great to live in the story and have people like going along with it. And it's you can hear a real temperature change in the room when certain things happen. It was just fucking fantastic. So I was excited because I was nervous about being able to tell it right. But fuck, everybody was so gracious and letting me talk that I told it perfectly. I was really happy with it. And it set the tone because I told it first and it allowed me to get into the rest of the stories. And I see the show getting stronger, even though, like I say, it's a work in progress. And then Emily was great with the cues and the lights and the music. And it was funny. There were people would show up. And, there's things I have to stop doing. I have to stop commenting on people when they walk in the room. But it's in my brain when I see them walk in and I want to talk to them. Some kid came in the room and I saw his shadow and I go, you want to sit down? And he's like, yeah. And I said, all right, go ahead. And he walks across. He had like hair down to his back. Like crazy wolf motherfucking hair. And I go, well, I didn't know Dave Mustaine was coming to the show, which is always nice. But, you reach out and then make fun of somebody. You're such an idiot. So he found a seat. Everybody found a seat. It was great. And people the show went great. And then I like I said, the show finished. Afterwards, I went in the back by myself. And I'm sitting there and again, looking in the mirror. I'm like, that was perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So I walked outside and I got the shirts and I set up. I had T-shirts to sell. And, but it was more about meeting people and taking pictures and things like that. And fans waited in line and they were very nice. I met everybody and shook hands and I can't thank them enough for coming. I was so thrilled. People drove from fucking Kentucky. Someone came from Texas. Someone came from, they came from Indiana and all over the place. A guy named Tim, I think, did I mention Tim on here already? He was a big dude and he was just, he was the guy. Yeah, he's the guy. Did I talk about how a guy said he lets his son listen, but then when I talked about hookers or whatever, he turns it off. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I met Tim, and I met a ton of people. So everybody was great. And again, names escape me, and I apologize, folks, because I meet people, and that's great. I'm glad you came. And then afterwards, my friends were there, which was really amazing. So they all came over, and there were friends, people that I hadn't seen in a long time. And this was really weird. My buddy Dean comes over. Now, I know Dean from school, but we didn't really hang out. It was like we all kind of interacted, but I had a group. Everybody has a group, and Dean wasn't in my group. So he came and I met his wife. She was really nice, and I said, "Was it okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, man, it was great." Because because I was worried it was too long. I was worried about all sorts of stuff for people who've never seen me, and Dean goes, "Well, I knew." I go, "Yeah, I told one of the stories," and he goes, "Well, I knew the first story that you told about George, but I didn't know that." And in my head, I'm like, "How the fuck does he know the story about George?" Because he wasn't in my group. Like, how did he? And so I didn't ask him how he knew it, but then I'm like, is it out there? Like, are people telling other people that fucking story? I don't know. I'll find out eventually. But so he said he knew that, and it was so that was great. Met him and his wife. I met Liza. I saw Liza, and then Gene and Lisa came onto the show, which was really cool. These are people all I went to school with, and then the UN of Evil was there. I mean, most of them anyway. No Dennis and no Ock, but everybody else was there, and. I tell you guys I do these shows city to city, and I go out and I do the show, and it's important to me to meet all of you because you support me, and I want to hear genuinely what you thought about it. Not just a kudos fest. I don't need you to blow me the whole fucking time, but I still need to know how you felt about it because, again, I'm trying to make it work, and I'm trying to make it good for people who not only know who I am and what I do, but people who don't. So to meet my friends and they hadn't seen me or whatever, and like you said, they're predisposed to like me, but they were nice. And every time I'm in, inevitably people go away. Everybody disappears, and I'm standing there at the end of the night with nothing to do, and I have a hole to fill, as I've told you over and over. What was good in Chicago because nobody went away. And it was just me and my 15 friends, and we went out, we found a bar. Jimmy O, I don't know if I told you, Jimmy O knew exactly where everything was. So we walked up the street, and we hung out in a bar. It was just me and my 15 friends, and I say in every town I go to, I fill this hole where I meet you guys, and everything's great, but then at the end of it, I got the hole to fill, and I wound up filling it with food, or I wind up filling it with fucking candy, or I wind up filling it with Vice, or I wind up filling it with, fucking strippers, whatever I can fill it with, I try to. And that includes you people, because that's why I will hang out, because you always think that I'm, you're bothering me or whatever by posing for pictures. No, fuck that. You're doing me a favor when you hang out with me. You're doing me the favor by meeting me and taking a photo with me and getting a shirt or doing whatever, just telling me what you think or telling me you like the show or even just saying hello. That helps me because you fill the fucking hole that I have inside of me. That's, you people are human Spackle. Do you get that? That's who you are. That's right. Every single one of you. I look in your face and I know all of you and Dave who came and William and Mary and everyone else who came to the show. You guys are human Spackle. And unfortunately, it wears off. It's fine. You spackle the hole while I'm in that city, and then by the next time I'm on the plane, the hole is fucking empty, and I need to fucking fill it again. And every city I go to, that's what I try to do. But in Chicago, I didn't need human spackle. I didn't have to fill it with candy or food or strippers. Because the hole was filled with love. Because the people that I've known the longest and mean the most to me in the world came out and saw me do what I do best. And on a night that I did it better than I may have ever done it. And I was so excited and so happy to have them there. And we went out and hung out afterwards. And then I wound up back at Max's house. So I didn't have to go to an empty hotel room. You see what I'm saying? It's like I got to go back and be with Dave and then watch TV and eat pizza and be 13-year-old me again. I mean, it's like, and it's so funny because that's what it gets back to. Honestly, I'm just trying to be 13-year-old me again. But I want to have grown-up me success and money. But I want to have enough success and money so I'm a grown-up who gets to be 13-year-old me all the goddamn time. And is that hole ever going to be fucking filled? The human spackle? No, it's not. I mean, that's what I continue trying to jam it and fill it and do what I can. And so every time I come to your city, please know, folks, I need you to do that. I need you to come to the shows, and you're not bothering me in any way. Because I've had people write me emails that are like, I'm really sorry to bother you. I'm sorry the length. You're never bothering me. Come up to me, talk to me, tell me what you think. If you got a criticism or you want to talk about it, I'm willing to talk or discuss anything with anybody. I just want to hear from you. I love taking pictures. I love meeting you because it helps me more than it helps you. The only thing that I need to tell all of you at any point, if you want to meet me, you want to talk to me, any of that, please, by all means, make sure there's seafood available. That's it. Because I meet you and I fill the hole with love. I fill the hole with strippers. I fill the hole with candy. The only time that the hole inside of me is ever fully packed and filled, the only time I've ever satiated besides love, is when it's filled with shrimp. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp, who's the producer of this show. You can follow her at Twitter.com/MNTs or Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you want to write her a personal note and find out how weird it is to be staring at me the entire time I do the show instead of being able to disappear into a cubbyhole in the corner, you can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
No, I'm doing something. I will. I'm doing something. As soon as I'm finished. Yes, I'm using a coaster. Fans of the 40-year-old boy, this is Parker from Pod Gods, telling you to go to Zazzle.com/40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com/40-year-old boy. Please buy all this. Please buy all. Please. Stupid.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. 10 o'clock p.m. is showtime for that show. I happen to know the producer of that show. Oh, is that going to happen, really? Because I said if you did that, I would end the show the second I heard the noise.
No, it won't.
All right. Lily's holding a clown horn. And I know, believe me, with who she dates, that could be a euphemism. But no, she's really holding a clown horn. And she's like, I'm going to blow that during the show. And by the way, not the first time she said that. But yeah, she's like, I'm gonna squeeze that and make a noise. I'm like, no, don't, you're not, because I will literally, the second I hear it, I will say, you guys can get me at. And when the show's over, I don't give a fuck where you blow it at, because I don't want that. Look, I know she loves clowns, and we all talk about it, but I don't need clown noises on this goddamn show. I'm clown enough for this show. All right, we don't need to jazz it up with sound effects. So 10 o'clock p.m. at this 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Hey, Lily Von Schupp.
Hey, Michael.
She's the producer of that show. Last week's show, I hear, was a great success.
It was awesome.
Sounds like somebody I know was hosting and doing very well.
I was funny.
And on fire, and people told you should do comedy.
People told me I should do comedy.
That's awesome.
Stand up.
I think you should.
People don't understand how hard stand up is.
No, it's not hard at all. You could have pulled it off easily. Just bring your horn up.
Yes.
So this week is coming up. Is there a theme show this week by chance?
No, but I do have Mr. Snapper and Mr. Buddy hosting.
All right, and you're a fan of them.
I am. So
Okay.
there'll be some vaudevillian burlesque baggy pants shtick.
And hot ladies?
Hot ladies. Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. And you've got theme shows coming up later in the month, yes?
Oh, my God. It's the Muppet and Burlesque Show. Yay!
Do you want me to plug those now so people can buy tickets? Because they're going to sell out, right?
That will sell out. Yeah.
Okay.
I have like 30-some tickets left right now.
All right, so there's the Muppet of Burlesque show. What's the date on that?
That is November 21st. Tickets are available at Brown Paper Tickets.
Brown paper tickets for November 21st. That's a Monday night, 10 o'clock p.m. at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. It's the Muppet of Burlesque show, and that will sell out. And tickets are available right now. Go pick them up so they don't sell out and you're not caught out in the cold. Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you this. It's so funny. I should tell you this. I mentioned that the fucking theater could not have been less helpful. When I went on stage in Chicago, I got on stage and I said, hey, whatever I talked. And I said, hey, I have a question for everybody. Could this theater be less fucking helpful at all? And I might have been the biggest laugh of the night. Literally just this, so huge because they were all like, yeah, no kidding. Because I guess they walked in and people just pointed at a door. That's all they did for them. And I mentioned Dave Mustaine, that kid who snuck in. That guy's name, I think, was Chris. And he drove from St. Louis that night. Wow. He drove up and arrived late without a ticket. Parked, came in, and then, of course, since there's no police or no fucking velvet rope, he just walked in. And I said, hey, you want to come in and sit down? And he did. After the show, he came up to me and he goes, hey, I'm Chris. I drove from St. Louis for the show. And I go, great. And he goes, I didn't have a ticket. I go, oh, we were sold out. I go, but I go, that's okay. I go, because there was another guy, a guy named Steve from Ohio, who wrote me the morning of the show and said, hey, man, I can't make it. I have a migraine. I wanted to drive and I can't. But he had already purchased the ticket. So there was a seat. So Chris obviously got his seat. And then Chris said, well, I want to pay you for the ticket right now. I said, well, you already saw the show. I go, and he goes, no. He goes, I wouldn't do that to you. He goes, honestly, I came. So he actually he paid me because, he couldn't pay anybody out in the lobby. Certainly there was nobody out there to help with that. So he actually physically paid me. So it was nice of him to do that. Thank you for coming all the way from St. Louis. And then he paid me and then walked out to his car and drove back to St. Louis. Like that. He drove from St. Louis, got out, saw the show, met me, paid me, got in the car, drove back to St. Louis.
Oh,
just
my God.
no turnaround time whatsoever. Like he didn't have a sandwich, he didn't get a drink, nothing. He just bailed, gone. So that was nice. And that kind of thing will happen for you at the Monday Night Teas, perhaps. People will be just driving up.
People have driven in.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So remember that, 3 clubs, Monday nights, 10 o'clock p.m., Santa Monica and Vine. Come and check it out. Remember on Facebook.com/the40year-old boy, you can go there and be my friend. And there's all those pages there where people want to bring me to their towns. Remember, there's Detroit is active. Bring Mike Schmidt to Toronto is active. Bring Mike Schmidt to Tahoe is active. All these different pages. Kansas City is also active. That's been active for quite a while. Indianapolis, also active for quite a while. Could not find a theater to get it done in Indianapolis. Still looking, still trying. But also I want to remind you folks, remember that the Kickstarter campaign is still going on to bring me to the East Coast, to bring me to Boston, Cleveland, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta. And the Kickstarter page is at tinyurl.com/kickmike. I'm panicking just a skosh because, this week I think we got $10 this week. We're still about $2,500 short of our goal, and I want to try to do whatever I can. And that's on me. I'll tell you that, because I haven't exactly been pushing it. I haven't Twittered it. I haven't put it on Facebook because I'm weird about bothering you constantly. And I've been trying to get people to buy tickets for Chicago, trying to get people to buy tickets for, other cities, and then selling T-shirts, all sorts of different things. I seem like I'm always in your pocket, and I don't want that to be the case. But I do want to bring the show to the East Coast, and I hope there's a way we can do that. So with 3 weeks, it's a little over 3 weeks. There's about 29 days, 28 days left, so that's about a month. Four times 7's a month. We are $2,500 short of the goal. So if there's a way we can do that, that would be great. I'd love to come to the East Coast and start booking theaters and coming out and bringing the show to Boston, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and Cleveland. So go to tinyurl.com/kickmike and give what you can. I know a lot of you already have, and I certainly appreciate that very much. And I will do my best to start Twittering and getting people on Facebook on board. And if you want to tell friends or put it on your pages, you want to share it, go ahead. I actually it was funny, I talked to Jesse over at Jordan Jesse Go, and I might do their show. I have no idea. He wasn't sure. He was pretty booked up for November, but I wanted to try to get the word out through them. And then there was a guy who wanted to buy an ad for me on their show. And I don't feel good about that because they raise money for their own causes and stuff. So it seems weird to, without their permission, pimp me for that. So whatever, who cares? I appreciate all your efforts, and thank you for thinking out of the box on a lot of that. But tinyurl.com/kickmike is available, and let's get me to the East Coast. That'd be great. People have already donated to the show. A lot of people. I should tell you this. Hold on. Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. Be my friend. There's other pages you can sign up. Bring Mike to Toronto is also available. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So go ahead and sign up. I want to go to these cities, and that'll be fun and exciting, and we'll do that together. I'm talking in circles because I'm trying to... All right, go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and there's the Joe Business page. And on there's links to the Zazzle store for mugs and mouse pads. There's links to tweakedaudio.com/40, where they sell autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches. So go ahead and pick those up. And there's also a link to buy the year 1, 2, or 3 download sets of this show, or also the Lord of the Schmidt set, which is all 3 of them combined for $60. And in the upper left-hand corner of the page, there is a donation guy, a little Mike Schmidt there, a little Schmitty with his pocket out. If you want to donate to the show, you can do that. I would prefer you went to tinyurl.com/kickmike and donated to Kickstarter. That would be great because we want to get me to the East Coast, and it all goes to the same place. But if you do donate to the show, I will say your name on the air, and I will say your full name if you want me to, but I will say your name like this, like Mary S. Mary S. donated to the show. That was actually a New York purchase of a shirt of a purchase in New York. And then Andrea F. Might be Andrea F., but I think it's Andrea F. I don't know what it is, but it's who cares? Andrea F. donated to the show. Thank you, Mary S., Andrea F., and Kevin Penelrick, or Penelrick. I'll say Kevin Penelrick. That's what I'll say, because there's an extra E in there. It might be a superfluous E. Actually, that's his superhero identity. I shouldn't give it away. Kevin Penelrick is truly superfluous E. Or is that his rap name? I have no idea. But Kevin Penelrick, this was his second donation to the show. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it. James Girardeau, this was his third donation. I think I already mentioned him, actually, because James was the guy who wrote me and said, "You've never said my name," because his name was Blake. What the fuck? James Girardeau. Well, hi, James. I'm saying you again. This was James's third donation. So that's Kevin Penelrick, James Girardeau, Andrea F., Mary S. All right, this is weird. All right. Folks, I read these in order. All right, so that's why I'm still at the New York shirt purchase, because I can't read like 30 in a show. I mean, I try to read a few every week, and so I read them in order of them received, and that's why some people who've donated recently are like, "Dude, when are you going to say my name?" Well, as soon as I get to it, but I have pages and there's people ahead. But I can tell you that this person gave their second donation to the show back when and they just, it's weird that their name is here. Jill Bublitz Charbonneau. Jill Bublitz Charbonneau from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This was her second donation to the show. And thank you, Jill. I should, perhaps I'll get to thank you in person someday. Who knows if that'll ever happen? But I appreciate you donating, Jill Bublitz Charbonneau. This is her second donation. So thank you, Jill. I appreciate that. And, that's interesting. It sounds vaguely familiar. All right. Well, good. I'm glad you donated. But yes, again, I do these in order. So that just seems really strange that would come up now. So again, if you want to go ahead and kick into tinyurl.com/kickmike, go ahead and do that. That's the Kickstarter page. And tell all your friends, tell whoever you want. That would be fantastic. Remember that I am going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, folks. That's November 25th. That's Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, at the Carte Blanche Studios. I think that's a real small room, actually. But, if you want to buy tickets for that, that would be great. They're available at brownpapertickets.com right now. I know I've sold at least 12 because someone bought 12 the first day they went on sale. Although I'm not sure if they want a refund. Well, they might. If they didn't before, they might now. I have no idea how that's going to work, but remember that I will be in Milwaukee. That's fantastic news. At the Carte Blanche Studios, bringing the Success Is Not an Option tour, November 25th. That's a Friday. The show's at 8 o'clock. Come on out and enjoy the show. I would certainly appreciate it. And tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com. Go ahead and get those now. I want to tell you guys, remember that every... what are you mocking me for? What are you doing over there? Remember that every Thursday, the show comes out on Thursday morning. Well, every Thursday night at Mikepedia.com, that's Mike-A-Pedia.com, they do a live broadcast of the show and a chat, a live in-time, same time. What's the word I'm looking for? Real time. There you go. A real-time chat as they listen to the show. So that's available at Mikepedia.com. I want to thank Chris for arranging that. And, of course, our friends Hannah, Leanna, and Sabrina, Leanna, and then Leanna, Anna, Leanna. They're all there. Everybody's there. It's fun. I've gone a couple of times. Couldn't go last week, but our friend Lily Von Stupp stopped in last week and wound up listening and talking to people and stuff like that. So if you guys want to go there, that would be appreciated. It's 7 o'clock Pacific, which is 9 o'clock in the Midwest, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. That's it's at Mikepedia.com. And you will listen to the show, sign in, and go ahead and chat real time with a lot of the fans, a lot of the West Side 86 Jokers. People show up, and I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's great. And let's see, Milwaukee Kickstarter, Mikepedia.com. Remember, there's a Reddit page. I've made a lot of threats about going to this Reddit page. And I've never gone. I've never been there. I've been and looked, but I've not ever posted. I swear to God, I swear on my own life, this week I will post on the Reddit page. I will figure out how to do it and what to do, and I will post on the Reddit page. That it has to be done. Because every time I go to the Reddit page to do it, I'm like, oh, I should do this. And then all of a sudden I get sidetracked into things that I shouldn't be looking at ever in a million years, but who cares? I wind up browsing, and then I go, why was I here again? Oh, yeah, for her. No, I wasn't there for her. I was there to go to my page and address people. I just went there yesterday. I had not been there in easily a month, and I saw that people are actually posting. People are posting, stuff about the show and the Kickstarter page and that campaign. So I have to get there. I have to get people on board, and I've got to go to Reddit because, again, as I've mentioned, it's going that way where you got to maintain a constant contact with your fans and try to keep people invested and interested. And the way to do that is by being invested and interested in it yourself. And by not going to post on Reddit, I look like I'm not, but I am. I'm just technologically ignorant. You do understand that, right? So that's fine. But I've dropped in on the Mikepedia a few times. I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. And holy shit, is that a lie? Oh my God. Really, when you think about it, that is a complete and utter fucking lie. Because I'm sitting here telling you that I'm doing the best that I can just seconds after I'm telling you I've never posted on the Reddit page. Who can't learn how to post on the fucking Reddit page? I'm clearly not doing the best that I can, right? Why would I even fucking say that? That seems so stupid that I would because you know what? I'm filling time. That's all I was doing. I was filling time there. That was verbal spackle. You folks are human spackle. That was verbal spackle just to fill a fucking hole that was there because I'm doing the best I can. No, I'm not. I'm not doing. If I was doing the best I fucking can, I wouldn't be sitting in Lily's goddamn kitchen, right? I wouldn't be doing that. No offense to Lily and no offense to her kitchen. They're fantastic places, especially with this new Costco fucking bookcase. But this is not the best I can. This is not the best I can. If I was doing the best I can, I'd be on Reddit. I'd be on the front page of Reddit. I wouldn't be just fucking making you guys carry the weight. I wouldn't be having you guys doing Mikepedia. I would have thought of these things. God damn, if I was doing the best I can, I would have thought of Mikepedia.com and fucking got it running. But no, instead, Chris steps up to the forefront and does it. And thank you, Chris. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you. And I've been told you, yeah.
I am just stupid enough to think that when people listen to me and they listen to the show, they should take my honesty and go, oh, wow, how refreshing his unvarnished honesty is. And the fact that he's willing to have a scorched earth policy and have no friends or no fucking future is so refreshing and great. But then they'll say to me, hey, do you need somebody raped with a snake? I go, yes, I do. Done. They'll take care of it for me. Thanks, snake rape. Oh, no one listens to show, bro? Wonder why? Wonder why no one listens to show, bro? I don't want to listen to show, bro. Please. Snake rape. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.